All right, welcome YouTube to episode 63. Oh man, I can't keep these numbers from jumbling in my mind. Yeah, because we were at 165 for a Dark Tower this a few minutes ago, and now 63 here. Like it's all jumbling in my brain. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, it's episode 65 now. Like, no, it's not. But yeah, welcome. We're here for episode 63 of Geekery Abides, where we're going to be talking some Secret Wars comics. Let's go ahead and hit the intro and get started with the news and then the Secret Wars.
Yeah.
He who is ashamed of his geekery has forgotten the face of Stan Lee.
You the proud, the geeky.
This is the podcast, Geekery Abides.
Hello and welcome to Geekery Abides, episode 63. My name is Tad, and with me in the co-pilot seat, as always, is Peter.
Hello.
Hopefully, we'll have a no-issue episode. We just had a little bit of a flutter on the last episode.
A little technical hiccup.
Yes. So, if for some reason the stream goes tits up for a second, be patient. Hopefully, it doesn't happen again. But that's what happened last episode. So, welcome, Geekery Abides. This is our podcast covering everything except for Stephen King.
Basically.
So, it's always funny when I'm doing the news and stuff, like research for these episodes, and I come across the Stephen King thing, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And I'm like, wait, no, can't cover that.
Copy
here.
and paste. Go put that in Dark Tower Palavers folder.
Yes, indeed. So, let's, and then of course, if you want to do the normal YouTube stuff, subscribe, rate, and review us. Otherwise, we get lightning teethed.
Or we have internet issues.
That's true. I was bad mouthing Amazon at the beginning of last episode.
It's true,
so.
you were.
And then Peter threatened me while the podcast was down.
I'm like, if this is the end of the internet and like the start of the apocalypse, you're done. I'm not having it, Tad. I'm not having witchcraft in my apocalypse.
I mean, why not? It's fun. Flag is all kinds of fun. So. All right, so let's go ahead and first thing I wanted to do is look at the rest of the. So I did get the rest of the year's episodes put out on YouTube. The scheduling for them. I have it scheduled out through the rest of the year. Also, we have decided our start date for next year, so I can give you that now. We are starting on the 17th of January. We're going to be taking a break because normally that should start with the January 3rd, but we're going to skip that episode to take a little bit of a break, both for the holiday and just to recharge. But next year, there's the 2 months that we would normally have 3 episodes is January, so one of those is lost, so we only have one episode that has 3 episodes, and that is the month of August. So also very fitting in a nice Tetris-y type way where everything fits perfect.
Yeah.
The final episode 100 of 2026.
Yep.
So the last episode of this year is 75. The last episode of last year is 50.
I think we're getting 25 per year.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, the first year obviously was different because we started in February, so we missed a whole month our first season. So, but then also we did fill in some more episodes as well. We have our Secret Wars comic book reads for this one. We got Superman and Fantastic Four, the next 2 episodes. We got the 3rd Harry Potter film in August, the 2nd episode of August, the 3rd episode of August. Looks like there's 3 in this year too. I've got natural disaster films.
Oh, okay.
So just kind of bring whatever you want, but let's just talk natural disasters. Disasters not done by humans. So
right.
I think that there's just a lot. I think we kind of both grew up on certain
not
ones.
done by humans, so that means we can't talk about Waterworld?
Well, I mean, we wouldn't want to anyway. So yeah, there's no. In fact, we went to one on our graduation day.
We did, day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow. So it's the only notable thing about that film, really.
One thing that stands out for me is there's a film, an interview later with Jake Gyllenhaal and Quaid, where they're like, "Well, since you guys have played father and son," and Quaid's like, "Wait, what? We did?" And he's like, "Yeah, the day after tomorrow." He's like, "Oh, that's you!" Like they like both of them realized that they had played father and son because in the film they never see each other.
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I should rewatch that one. I probably haven't seen it since being within spitting distance of it actually coming out in theaters when we saw it our day of our graduation from high
I
school.
might need to go watch some.
Yeah, and then
some
that's the thing
natural
is,
disaster movies.
there's-
I haven't watched a ton. Like the nightclub in the chat just said 2012 was ridiculous. Woody died on that hill for real. LOL. I've never seen 2012. I have never seen San Andreas. I haven't seen the new Twisters. You know, like
but you've seen the original
I have seen the original Twister.
Volcano.
I
What
did
about
s-
Tommy Lee Jones?
I did watch Volcano.
Dante's
Peak with Pierce Brosnan. I did watch those.
I'm not sure if you Googled and just kind of got us because you've probably seen more of them than you remember. There's quite a bit of natural disaster type things. Armageddon, Deep Impact,
Oh,
Asteroids.
Yeah. I have seen both of those.
Asteroids. Yeah, indeed.
There's that one with Tom Holland with the 2004
Oh yeah,
tsunami.
God, what was that one called? He's like 12.
Yeah.
So what does he look
He's
like?
little-
9?
He's little itty bitty Tom.
Yeah, and Ewan McGregor is his dad. Mr.
Oh, that's right,
Mr.
yeah.
Mr. Hello there. And then we've got Batman Begins. Peter's exposing me to that movie, unfortunately.
I'm not. You've seen it already. You just don't remember it properly.
And then I also did put one in for episode 69.
Nice.
And that's the title of the episode. Nice. And then in,
We had to.
in parentheses, immature comedies.
Oh my God.
So that's that episode. And then you got Harry Potter listed in the very beginning of November. But we do have a couple episodes. Neither of our October episodes are filled in, nor our episode, second one of November, or our 2 December episodes still need to be filled in.
Am I really making us wait from August to November for the next Harry Potter?
That's what it looks like, yeah. So,
That's too far. I might move that up.
yeah, so,
Oh, we got to have Harry Potter in October. I'm moving that up, Tad.
and Lydia does say unpopular opinion, but she loves Day After Tomorrow, and it might be good. I just remember it not being great. And over the years, the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, God, I wish there was an all-time great movie that would have come out for our graduation, like something that's just like
Yeah.
one of those like all-timers. Like, so maybe it's better than I remember it, but
I'm moving Harry Potter 4 to October 11th. We got to have Harry Potter in October.
and also the nightclub is Travis, by the way.
Oh, that's Travis. Oh, okay.
Long time listener of Dark Tower.
Oh, okay.
Palaver. So yeah, we do have to. So I guess, and then we still have one more for October. So we basically have the tail end of the year to fill in, but we still have plenty of time for that. But the reason I wanted to bring it up now, reveal it to the audience, and also
Yeah.
to you, because the audience might see it, because I've actually renamed the videos for
Oh, okay.
everything. So you obviously just changed things, so that changed a little bit. But also it gives you a heads up for like disaster films and stuff like that. Maybe you want to watch the new Twisters. I'm sure that's
I
streaming
do.
out there.
It's on Peacock, I think.
So.
I have seen it on there.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's others. I'm sure if you Google it, you'll probably be like, oh my God, yes, I've seen. Because like I feel like that's just like a normal type of movie that gets done fairly recent or fairly commonly.
Does Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Land of the Dead, do those all count as natural occurrence? Because it's not man-made.
No. Also, I will say by moving that Harry Potter into October, that does remove a potential horror movie and spooky season. I mean,
No,
spooky.
I left the second episode of October
Yeah.
where it is. That's spooky. That's spooky.
I mean, spooky season's 24/7.
Exactly,
for us,
365.
365.
It's called the Impossible for Tom Holland's tsunami movie.
Impossible. I knew it was like a very simple
Yeah.
word, but I've actually been meaning to watch that for years. I think I've seen some clips of it on like YouTube and shit. I'm like, oh, actually, it looks kind of interesting, and I've always been fascinated by that tidal wave, that tsunami and shit.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's been some earthquake movies up the wazoo.
There's
Like,
an
it's-
old earthquake movie that my dad used to watch. Oh, The Perfect Storm. I've seen that.
Perfect Storm. Yeah. So that'll be an easy one to fill.
Does
But
Independence Day count as a
No.
natural disaster? Oh, okay. That's not human-made,
but
so
that-
I was just clarifying.
But that's why I'm giving advance warning now, to where there's plenty of time to watch up some stuff
Watch
if you
some
want.
stuff,
So,
okay.
yeah, indeed. So let's go ahead and dive on into.
What about
the-
Sharknado?
I mean, technically, there's some horror movies too, like Crawl. I just watched that in my October.
Oh, that's a really good premise one where a hurricane traps a woman in a house with a bunch of alligators.
Yeah, Gators. Yeah,
That's based off on a true story, isn't it?
I don't know. It was
Oh.
it was a good movie though. I'm pretty blurry because I watched 50 horror movies in 31 days.
Yeah.
So, but that is one I do remember watching. So there's some stuff. Oh, there's also there's the shark one where the lady's like trapped out on a rock.
Yeah.
We-
Shallow. The
Shallows. Yeah, there's that one.
There's also
too.
like 34 meters down or something like that. Oh, what about that one where they're trapped up on the radio tower? That's not a natural disaster. Also, Shark Attack movies. Jaws doesn't count as a natural disaster.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean,
it's not really.
It's a horror film, not a natural disaster.
No, it's not.
So
It's an adventure film.
it's absolutely a horror film.
Nah, not at all. So if you want to email us, you can email either of us directly, either peter@geekeryabides.com or tad@geekeryabides.com. As a reminder, with these episodes, we produce every other.
Yep.
I get all the odd ones because I'm an odd duck. Peter gets the even ones. And
Because I'm even Steven?
that's how we divide them out. So if you have feedback on previous episodes, if you have ideas for new episodes, if you have an email on an episode, say like a Harry Potter episode, which are usually were Peter's episodes, I'm watching them for the first time.
Send it to me.
He would be the one you'd want to email because like I've not seen anything. But if you wanted to like email about, I don't know, let me just pick a random one that I've done, like the natural disaster films, send it to me at tad@geekeryabides.com, which is TADD.
2 Ds.
At geekeryabides.com. That is the way to email the show. And then let's go ahead and go on over to what are you watching, reading, and playing.
You're in charge.
I'll go first. Mine's
Okay.
super basic. We've only been a week since the last one. I've fallen off of a number of shows. Not necessarily that I'm like not going to watch them. It's just a matter of like I haven't had a lot of time to watch a lot recently. So like I'm like way behind on like Poker Face and a few other things. So all I've really watched this week is Malcolm in the Middle and baseball. I'm in the final half of the final season of Malcolm in the Middle. So probably by the next episode I'll be done.
And you did watch the first episode of Ironheart.
I covered that last episode because I watched
okay.
it the day before our last episode.
Oh, gotcha.
So, and that's another one I haven't watched the rest of that show yet, which they're all now out, which is great.
Yep.
Reading, I'm still reading The Stand. Can't get enough of that.
Of course not.
MON, that spells Randall Flagg.
Yep.
And then I'm still playing Spider-Man. I am almost 90% now.
Nice.
So yeah, getting right toward the nitty gritty of that. Gotta love it. J. Jonah Jameson podcasts, good stuff.
Terrible. Just the worst part of the game.
No, it's the best. What about you? What do you got?
Watching, rewatched I finished my rewatch of Punisher, season 1, season 2. I did watch Ironheart, all 6 episodes.
Oh,
I did it in
what'd
one
you
day.
think?
It was all right. It was good.
Yeah.
There is a major thing that does happen.
I've got a vibe of that online. Just some of the things I'm seeing, I'm like, I guess there's something that's big here.
There is a major
Nothing
thing.
spoiled for me, but
Nope.
sometimes you just can just get like it's like when
Yep.
you're in the pool and you feel like the waves of like
Yep.
someone moving around you. It's like that. I can feel the reverberations.
Oh,
but-
there is a major thing, and also it took a turn that I was not expecting. If you had to guess, Ironheart connected to a previous multi-movie series in the MCU, which one would you say?
multi-movie.
So no one-offs, no Eternals, no Black
and
Widow,
something that would pay into the future, right? Because it wouldn't be Iron Man because he did.
He did.
Captain America would be a thought. Doctor Strange is the first one that came to my mind.
You nailed it.
Really?
There is absolutely like direct tie-ins to
Just
Doctor
the,
Strange.
the first one that came to my mind. The reason being is like that's the most like active. Like it feels like more like that's very prescient with what's going on in the
Sure.
larger universe. So, yeah.
2 points for Ted.
All right. So yeah, I'll probably.
5 points for Slytherin.
I like snakes. They're great. Snakes are fun. All right. What about you?
It's good. Yeah. So yeah. Ironheart.
Oh, yeah.
I am currently rewatching True Detective season 3. I watched season 1, and at the request of Tad, I will never watch season 2.
Yeah.
I've been told
Well
never
done.
ever to watch season 2. So therefore, I skip season 2. I'm in season 3. I think this is going to progress into a season 4 rewatch as well, which I've only watched one time when it came out.
Yeah.
Reading, I finished the podcast Supernova in the East, Hardcore History, Dan Carlin, re-listening to that. And literally today, as I was driving over to your house, I started my listen for The Stand for our other show. Playing, I played Repo, Madden, and Days Gone a little bit. And then it happened, Tad. 7 Days to Die got a massive update, and that's all I've been playing for the last, 4 days. So, yeah. I'm a little bummed. They initially penciled the date for the massive update as June 30th. And then today, this week being the holiday week, I took an extra day off. I had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off for the holiday and everything, and plus my day off. I'm like, cool, that'll be when I play. It happens on the 23rd, on the 30th. No, they dropped it early. They dropped it the Thursday before, so I could have played it all last weekend as well,
Yeah.
and I didn't know about it. I need to figure out notifications for shit I care about. I don't have any of that shit turned on.
Yeah.
I need to figure something out, because that's bullshit that I missed a couple days being able to play my favorite, like my current favorite video game right now. Like, that's just inexcusable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been playing that like shit ton of that. Actually, I saw your brother's been playing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tells you on Steam when someone's playing like similar games, like someone played this for the first time, or someone's been playing this a lot. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I need to get back on Steam more. I think when I was like in that funk of not being able to find anything to play, I thought about
Yeah.
that. But I do have quite a library on Steam I could play through. So
dude, the number of games I have on there that I haven't played, we're not going to talk about. Travis says I've been watching Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad interchangeably. Also, a lot of Gordon Ramsay content from the Hell's Kitchen to Kitchen Nightmares.
Kitchen Nightmares, that's a fun show.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've never
Where
really
he
cared
goes
for
and-
Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, I love him. I
Of course you do.
like cooking stuff is not really my thing. I'm not like Hayden. That's like a big crazy good cook or anything.
Yeah.
But like, and so I don't really like gravitate towards that content. But with him, I really enjoy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then he says playing Magic Survival and GTA San Andreas both on my phone. Oh, and also same watching WWE because my wife says watching Jeremy Dooley streams, wrestling. I think that's it. She's almost done with it. I know a lot of people were asking about that last week. She has less than 2 hours now, I think, is all. And then playing Disney Dreamlight Valley, Planet Zoo, and finished all the Room games. So got 100% of the achievements on those.
And got an It watch coming down the pike, I hear.
She says not anymore. That's what she said. She got to the part where it's the final form of Pennywise. No spoilers on this show. The final form of Pennywise, and she's like, nope. I'm nope. And I said, you can't recant. You are watching them. You gave me your word, so that's happening.
Oh,
Also,
love
I want to call it out. She owes me a watch of Clown in the Cornfield.
that's true. That
was an agreement.
Yeah, our whole like group kind of like I think Hayden was out of town. Like it just ended up. I still haven't seen it either. So
Yeah, so
I'm thinking
that-
like maybe going and having a dinner night and then watching some Clown in the
It's
Cornfield.
actually interesting. Hayden actually texted us while we were recording the other show about a summer hangout.
Oh, really?
He did.
Interesting.
So when we get done here, you're going to have to chime in a little bit there.
Get up on the old text chain.
That's right.
Indeed. Let's see. She says I have 2 hours and 5 minutes left. I made a deal. I'm still going to watch them.
Nah, that's my wife sticking to her word.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump on over to the news. We got some sad news to start. Michael Madsen passed away. Legendary character actor, very frequent Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Regular. He was in The Hateful Eight.
Reservoir Dogs.
He was in 24. So I have like a list I made here. Sin City, Kill Bills 1 and 2, Die Another Day. He was in the Bond franchise. Not a great movie, but he was
the only Pierce Brosnan one to write home about is
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
Yeah. He was also a major voice in GTA 3. He was in Donnie Brasco, Species, Wyatt Earp, the alternate to Tombstone. I've still never seen it. I've heard it gets in a little bit more like the Kansas side of things as well as Tombstone. So
What's that? Dodge City?
yeah, the Dodge City stuff. So I, at some point I need to get around to watching that. But he was Virgil in that.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and then Reservoir Dogs, and he was also in The Doors. So legendary actor. Also, as I was scrolling through his shit to kind of see whatever, he has been in a lot of movies, and he has been in a lot of very bad movies.
Really?
Like I don't think I've ever seen a lot of like things on IMDb that had rankings of 2 something stars. Like usually like bad movies are like 4 stars.
Yeah, because there's like that cult following that's like, oh, this is so much fun.
And he's got what I think the way like the reputation like Samuel L. Jackson gets, where it's like the dude just works all the time and he doesn't always pick good movies. He just works. Like I would say Madsen's very similar, and probably with like some of the bad movies are as bad as you could probably get. So, but yeah, rest in peace. He was 67. I didn't put it in my notes, but I did put it on the slide. So,
good night, sweet prince.
Indeed. And then more recently, we had another one just the other day. Julian McMahon. So he is famous he's in a lot of the FBI and all the spin-off shows from that. He was in the movie Red, which is a really good movie. He was in Nip Tuck, and he was also Dr. Doom
in the
in
Fox, the first Fox,
the original Fantastic
Yeah.
Fours, and then he was also in Charmed. Those are just the ones I saw that really jumped out at me. So, yeah, he passed away very young. I think he had cancer. He died at age 56.
Yeah,
so.
it was. I saw an article about that one. It was private, like he didn't publicize it and everything, so it kind of just caught everyone.
I knew the name. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know that name. I'm like, I think it's Doctor Doom, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of a unique name. And when I clicked, I saw. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Doctor Doom. So.
I pushed it. I swear.
Good night, sweet prince.
I didn't push it enough.
Indeed. Yeah. So it always sucks to start off with sad news, but we do want to give the salutes to the fallen. Indeed. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the other side. We're going to start off in the Star Wars realm for the news.
We lost one more as well.
What?
We lost another person as well. Kenneth Cawley, Admiral Piet from Star Wars.
Oh, I saw that. I forgot to put that on my notes.
So
yeah.
Good night, sweet prince.
Admiral Piet, the only man to survive Vader from multiple movies.
Yeah,
So-
we got to honor Kenneth.
Yeah, I did see that, but for some reason, like I saw it earlier in the week when it happened, and it slipped my mind.
I
And-
honestly thought that was going to be the first one that you said was going to be him because Star Wars. So
yeah, no, and it's honestly, it's he was far less publicized. Like his wasn't getting as much coverage, which is how I missed it during the news.
Yeah.
But you're right. So indeed, sorry to Mr. Piet.
don't worry, we got it.
I always loved Admiral Piet too.
Oh yeah,
He's great.
he died on the Super Star Destroyer.
His
right?
his look on his face when the Falcon goes to light speed.
He's like, I'm so fucked.
Yeah, you sure your men have deactivated the hyperdrive on the Millennium
Absolutely,
Falcon?
sir. And then and he's like, well, it's nice knowing y'all.
Yeah, indeed. But he doesn't get killed. It's
He
because
dies at the battle event.
it's because the softer side of Vader came out by coming face to face with his son. So
Yep.
Piet was allowed to survive.
I'm surprised you're saying it that way. This is how I expected you to say it. Vader showed his weakness by having the softer side come out. Like Vader is a wuss for having the softer side come out. Something along those lines.
I would kill way more Imperial officers than Vader did if it were me. So
I'm pretty sure Palpatine would have eventually just offed. Also, you as an apprentice to anyone is not conducive with my brain. My brain cannot handle that.
I would overthrow Palpatine immediately.
I know, exactly.
So in the Star Wars realm, Ivana Sakno teases Ahsoka season 2.
Ooh.
So Ahsoka season 2 is in full production as we speak, and Ivana Sakno, who plays the goddess Shin Hati, said we're in for a huge season. She said, "quote there's absolutely nothing I can speak on at the moment. I wish I could share with you something at least, because it's such an exciting time for us to be back together, and we're currently in the middle of filming it. All I can say is it's bigger and even more in depth, and I'm really excited for people to see it. It means the world."
Yeah.
So Shin Hati, she's great.
The mouse snipers were watching her very closely. She's like, I wish I could say something, but she saw them. I can't.
Yeah, indeed. So
Welcome, Mike.
Welcome, Mike.
He says more Thrawn for the win.
Oh yeah, give me a whole Thrawn series.
Oh, yeah.
Like just a little mini series, like 5 episodes of just the greatness of Thrawn, and I will just sit there and chant like the stormtroopers, Thrawn, Thrawn, Thrawn. Oh man. All right, so let's go ahead and move on over to the next one. John Watts says he is not done with Star Wars yet.
Okay.
So John Watts, the creator of Skeleton Crew, the show that didn't necessarily blow the doors off in terms of viewership, and we've not heard much about future seasons. But around the time that the first season was ending, John did say that he would love to make another season. Up until recently, that's all we had heard. So he was recently at the Mediterranean Film Festival and was asked about, and let me just preface this by saying he said a lot at this film festival, and we're going to be revisiting John a number of times in the news here. So this is the first one at the Mediterranean. It's spelled weird, and it's not
First
Mediterranean. Film festival. He was asked about Star Wars and potentially returning to the galaxy far, far away. He said, "quote I love Star Wars. I would love to do more Star Wars, and I can't say anything more. I always get in trouble when I do these interviews, and I always end up saying something like I get in trouble and I shouldn't have said that." So when pressed further for more seasons of Skeleton Crew, he said, "I can't say exactly what it might be if it were even a thing." So ultimately,
Cryptic.
many, and I don't blame them, are reading into this, because it's leaving the door open that he is working on something.
Yeah.
Because if the door had been closed by Lucasfilm, and they're like, no, we're done with Skeleton Crew, and potentially like, hey, we're just, you're doing some Marvel stuff, we're not in business anymore, type thing with each other. At that point, wouldn't he just say that?
Yeah, why wouldn't he?
But the fact that there's like a realm of a veil of secrecy here is
Okay, we need a new button.
is telling-
I'm gonna write this down. We're gonna need a new button. So you're telling me there's a chance?
that is a good button. We also don't have any Pennywise on our soundboard. That's all.
Oh, that's true. We don't. But that's Stephen King. So is it allowed?
I mean, yeah, it's not like we're pushing it to like full on reference. Sometimes we just need reactions.
That's
So.
true. That's true.
Yeah, so I'm kind of getting behind the people on the internet. I do kind of wonder if this is actually there's something in the works. I really would love to see more Skeleton Crew. I really enjoyed that show. And Neil, I would die for him. So let's get more of him. So next up, we've got a rumor, a big one. Allegedly, Kenobi season 2 is in development.
What?
So
I'm gonna love when we have 6 episodes of Kenobi just puttering around his house on Tatooine.
yeah, so
He
according
goes out for one ride to look at Luke, and then goes back, and he's just watching like reruns and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, probably watching the Andy Griffith Show. According to Daniel Reichman, which is a fairly consistently proven scooper, quote, a second season of Obi-Wan Kenobi is in development at Lucasfilm. So, of course, we know that Ewan has been stumping pretty actively for another season. We've been hearing about that for 6 months to a year. I think he's been kind of like very, very actively in public saying, give me another season and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So honestly, what I'm saying here, just give me a Ronin of Tatooine film. Just imagine the roaming samurai, solo samurai that's just going to help people that are in need. Imagine that on Tatooine. Just imagine 4 or 5 episodes of like Kenobi going and helping a town that's being raided by whatever, or just various things.
Without
you know?
his lightsaber, because you can't have witnesses. You know, you can't have the word getting back to the Empire because Luke's there. So he's got to. I would.
It would be a balance for sure.
I would
but
rather-
no Vader. I think the number one thing most people are saying, like, Vader can't be in it. That's got to be the end. Like the one showdown with Vader, that was what we kind of needed to get him to that last step of like acceptance of
recovering and
and whatever. And then like the next time they meet, it's got to be on the Death Star. So
I would love if Obi-Wan gets a call from a surviving Jedi and goes to help, leaves Tatooine, and goes and helps. Honestly, you know what would be really kind of cool is if they tied in what's his name from the Jedi Survivor video games.
Cal Kestis,
Cal
which there's been
Kestis.
rumors that he would be showing up in live
Wouldn't
action.
Kenobi season 2 be perfect? No, really.
I think
like
there is part of me that wonders though, like, can you really get him off of Tatooine? I feel like there's a certain point where it's like, I feel like it was kind of a very specific circumstance that got him off of it for the first season, because
Leia.
it's like, you've got to protect Luke.
And that's what I'm
So-
saying. What if there's a Jedi out there? That would be the very specific thing that would draw him out. Is
Maybe.
that what if there is a Jedi that he could help? What
I-
if there is someone that like I could help them and stuff like that? Also, Ahsoka's kicking around somewhere. Just saying. What if it's Ahsoka that draws him off Tatooine?
Imagine Rosario
What? Yeah.
and
what,
Ewan McGregor on
oh no,
screen.
you would do a younger actress, way younger. We're talking like teenage.
Yeah, I
she's
guess
not
that's-
she's not even 20 yet by
I guess-
the end of Clone Wars and episode 3. So I think you would have to do a younger actress.
I guess that's true.
Hello there.
We've gone that long without our
That's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
without our Obi-Wan button. So I say, fucking give it to me. Like I've been saying
do
it.
it.
I've been saying since Ewan came out and said like, give me another season. I'm like, why are we even delaying? Like this should be like on ink on paper, like within 10 minutes of him saying
Film
that.
it tomorrow. Let's
yes,
go.
like let's just get it here because like
Just someone grab a camera and start following you around his house. Like,
Yeah.
like Disney has the budget; they can CG everything.
Oh man, I love the spirit of it. Next up, we got the OG Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film is coming back to theaters.
Yeah.
For its 35-year anniversary. As such, it's returning to a limited screening on Sunday, August 17th and Wednesday, August 20th. Fans will also see Turtles Unmasked, a brand new featurette that digs into the making of the film. So
Oh, that's cool.
That'll be played along with the film, it looks like. All-time classic film.
Yeah.
Of course, people of our age, that's, cornerstone of most of our childhoods. Like probably one of the earlier, or one of the best, comic book movies for like the early era before this whole boom that happened around the turn of the century. I mean, of course, there was stuff back in the the earlier days with Batman, Superman, that kind of thing. But like
Yeah.
for our generation, Turtles, that's a big one. So
Instantly, my mind goes to the second movie. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go Ninja. Yeah, Mike says it in the chat. Vanilla Ice. Yeah.
I just actually just threw it on one of my playlists, as a matter of fact, on Spotify.
Go Ninja.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the ninja rap. Of course, yeah, the VHS.
Oh God, yeah. It's so. I always thought that was funny. Travis points out that it had a Pizza Hut commercial on it,
Yeah.
but that it's Domino's in the movie that delivers to them.
Yeah, multiple. I mean, if you could sell your marketing multiple ways, why
Yeah.
not? So,
If there's anyone that deserves a pizza commercial nowadays, it's the Turtles.
yes, indeed. Nobody's probably done more for pizza than they have, to be honest,
pizza.
for our generation.
Oh, is it the first movie or the second movie where they just have that opening sequence where it's nothing but fucking pizza?
That might be the second one.
I think it's the second one. Dude, it's seriously, it's like 3 minutes of just people eating fucking New York pizza.
Wise man says, forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for a late pizza.
Yep. Delivery guy's got 3 minutes.
Oh, I love it. So good.
And while he's eating a popsicle, too. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
I love those movies so much. Next up, The Boys has wrapped for the last time.
Yep.
It has wrapped its final season, which is expected to be released next year. So,
You mean the Supernatural reunion?
Huh?
Jensen Ackles is in it. Jared Padalecki's in it. Misha Collins in it. Bobby Singer's in it.
I don't know.
All of those were in Supernatural. Bobby is the one that's like the politician. He I think he's the president now. I never finished the latest season. I still haven't
really?
finished. I still haven't finished that.
gotta-
My wife says, "Oh, I should finish watching that."
Yeah, you should get on that.
Jensen was the soldier boy.
I mean, you have a
So-
while because like they just wrapped filming, and
So we got
obviously
2 years.
a show like this has got a lot of post production. So it's 2026 that they've said it'll come out, but I'm expecting probably like a summer release would be
Yeah.
my guess. So
That's
but
when
yeah,
they've done the others, haven't they? Isn't that last year? Last June is when they came out with season 4.
maybe I don't know. I you think I could remember these things like when something comes out? I mean, it was only recently I remember that the one Spider-Man movie came out in December, for God's sake. I
That's
would've
true.
told you 100% that came out in the summer, but
Yeah.
no, it didn't. All right, let's move on over to the got that one to the DC side. We've got James Gunn saying you're going to be seeing Superman again sooner than you think.
Hell yeah.
He was asked when he would be seeing Clark again, and he said a couple of years, and then he added, "Well, no, you might see him," and then he ... You'll see him before then.
yeah.
So, speculation that Peacemaker Season 2 drops in August, as well as Supergirl comes out in 2026. Both of those would be sooner than a couple years. So, Supergirl, he's going to be in. Like, I would be absolutely fucking stunned if he wasn't in
Yeah.
Supergirl. But Peacemaker, that'd be interesting if he showed up
Did you
there.
ever watch Peacemaker?
No,
You haven't watched
I
it?
need to. I keep seeing the clip where he makes fun of Batman to the old guy,
His neighbor, yeah.
his neighbor. Have you watched it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. John Cena is actually really fucking funny.
Yeah.
I will say John Cena is really fucking funny in it.
Yeah,
He's the best part of the whole show. Which
Yeah.
which is saying something because you wouldn't expect a wrestler turned actor to be,
no,
The draw.
I think that's wrong. I think if anything's been proven throughout history that like the nature of what professional wrestlers have to go through, like, I think they are always generally make the best actors.
Yeah.
because they're always out, like on their feet. They're always
what
on
I'm
the
saying
fly.
is, like, they're not usually like the best part, like
I
when you aside from Batista,
Dave Batista has been pretty much the best.
Dave,
almost everything
Dave
he's been in.
Batista is, dude, he's a different breed. That man is unreal.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, apparently some people like The Rock.
I mean, a few billion people like The Rock.
I don't get it, but they do.
But again, is he the best part of the movie? That's what I'm saying. It's like you put him in any movie. Is The Rock the best part?
the way his paycheck looks, they must think so. Next up, allegedly, Superman has cut a brutal crypto scene.
Yeah. The death of Crypto.
So, from the man who brutally murdered and tortured Groot, Rocket, Cosmo, Lila, Fleur, and Teefs, we now have a man that has gone too far, and thank God the test audience has put a stop to him. According to Eve Tessmacher actor Sarah Sampino, Gunn is a monster. Quote, they actually cut a worse scene, which I don't know what she was talking about to begin with. Me and Nicholas Hoult were a bit pissed about it, but it's okay. They cut Ultraman punching Crypto. Apparently it did very poorly with test audiences.
Oh God.
So
like the Stormtrooper punching Baby Yoda.
So Ultraman is also like God level powerful too. This isn't like a Johnny
A
come
human,
lately.
yeah.
Yeah, this is someone that could probably get a yelping thing out of Crypto. So, I.
Mike says Crypto bites a young boy's hand.
Oh, so he's like a Billy Bumbler.
Hey, you stop it. My wife says, no, not Crypto. I'm so glad they cut it. And then Travis says Soups had to put him down with his laser eyes.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's go through James Gunn's track record. Like I just said, he is a fucking monster.
He is a monster.
Like, he really
Absolutely.
is. And you know what it comes down to? He was a horror director in his earliest days.
Absolutely.
And that's what it is. He's got that sadistic nature to him, which I appreciate.
Of course you do.
But not when it comes to Crypto.
I wouldn't be surprised if what the worst thing that happens to Crypto is that at the end of the movie, Superman just goes, you know what? I don't want him anymore. Rehelm him.
Oh, or they just redo the Futurama thing.
Oh, yeah, he just leaves the dog behind and just flies away.
Then you just see like a long montage of it
Just
sitting
Crypto
there.
just sitting there in the fucking Arctic.
I mean, he is a bad dog, it sounds like.
He is
so.
a bad dog.
Yeah, it sounds like that's the...
I mean, he's super dog. Of course he's a bad dog. He's not Bat Dog.
No, that would be an
Ace
evil
is
child.
Ace,
That would be
Ace is a good boy.
no, that would be an evil dog. That would be attacking children all the time.
No.
Like, you still have parents. Bite the kid. That's what a Batman dog would do. All right, next up, we got a...
Superman's an orphan, too. I love this, like, that Batman's an orphan, but Superman's not. Superman's more of an orphan than Batman is.
He's a well-adjusted orphan, though.
Sure. Yeah. He's got, multiple personality disorder.
No. It's
Yeah. Yeah, he believes that he's a reporter when really he's an alien. Undocumented, by the way.
So we got a rumor here that Lucasfilm allegedly might be looking to reboot Indiana Jones. According
It's
to
going to be Chris Pratt.
according to Dis Insider, it's like a weird amalgamation between
Yeah.
Insider and Disney, which adamantly is not reliable. When I researched them, I found Reddit posts on multiple subreddits talking about them being banned because they're unreliable.
Oh.
A Disney subreddit and a Disney Park subreddit have both banned this group amongst others. So the only reason I'm covering it is because I do think there's a part of me that this is inevitable, even if this is not true right now. The leaker said, quote, Lucasfilm is letting the franchise rest for a bit before they do a full reboot of the franchise. I would expect the studios to announce something next year at D23 Expo, which I don't believe that for a second. I think it'll happen, but I think we might be years away from it. Because even though the last film tanked, the box office, Indiana Jones is still an iconic IP, and Disney Lucasfilm does not want to waste that. So that's the leak. Previously, Frank Marshall, the producer of Indy, said that they would not recast the role, and specifically said they are not going to James Bond it.
Where it's a new Indiana Jones.
Yeah. If memory serves, Kathleen Kennedy has also said that they would never recast it, and, and then it ultimately
I remember us
it's
covering
Harrison's role, and like he's done, it's done. The only thing I'm going to say is Kathleen will not be in charge forever.
Right.
Frank Marshall.
She's already talked about that she's stepping back.
Yeah, Frank Marshall probably won't stick around forever to be like this gatekeeper of it. At some point, whether it's in the next 20 years or so, I think we'll get there. Honestly, there's part of me that I don't agree with don't James Bond it. Like
Why not?
I've always been of the opinion because ultimately Indy is a riff on James Bond.
Right.
That was the original thing.
He's the American James Bond.
He's an American James Bond. Bond is lucky. Indy's unlucky. Other than that, I mean, James Bond becomes his fucking dad, for God's sake. Like, he is a riff on Bond. And so there's always been part of me for years. I mean, dating back to before the 5th movie, I said that they should do a fucking movie with Harrison, and you do a Godfather 2-ish thing where you're doing old and young, get a new actor, and now you can continue on to do other movies. Because how many adventures of Indy can you do? And I'm talking
in between Last Crusade, where he's
or even before,
where he has the cross of Cortez, and after.
Oh yeah, the kid. Yes,
the kid. You go from there. You have who is that? River Phoenix who plays him, right? So you find someone who can play him a couple years after that, a little bit older.
Yeah,
and then you have young Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
there you go. It's the same Indiana Jones. It's just what happened in between the Cross of Cortez and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that, or you could also you could fill in more too.
Cross of Cortez and Temple of Doom, because that's the first one, right?
Yeah, but you could also fill in other gaps. Like you could do it as an adult too. I just think that it's a very wonderful character, and I think that's kind of strange to me to basically say you're never gonna do another version. I think that it's kind of like Star Wars. Like those characters are bigger than the actors, and I think Indy's the same way. It's far bigger than Harrison Ford, in my opinion. It's bigger, more iconic.
Yeah.
And it could go on without him. So But I don't believe this leak. Ultimately, I don't think that we're going to be seeing it anytime soon. I don't think D23 next year they're going to be announcing it. I would be stunned if that becomes a reality. So, but I did want to cover it because I do think that it will happen. It's just not a, I would say probably 10 to 15 years from now, most likely you'll see it happen. Because at that point, you know, Frank Marshall won't be around, Kathleen won't be around,
Right.
and somebody's going to be in charge of Lucasfilm going, we cannot just let this fucking franchise sit. Like, this is too valuable to not do something with.
Yeah.
So, and they wouldn't be wrong. So, next up we've got,
Oh,
that's the wrong button. Let me make sure. There we go.
that was dramatic.
Dun dun dun. Neil Druckmann has exited the Last of Us series show.
Oh.
So I would say there's been a lot of alarmism about this, but I would say it's unnecessary. So Neil posted on Naughty Dog's Instagram, I made the difficult decision to step away from my creative involvement in The Last of Us on HBO. With work completing on season 2 and before any meaningful work starts on season 3, now is the right time for me to transition my complete focus back to Naughty Dog and its future projects, including writing and directing our exciting next game, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, along with my responsibilities as studio head and head of creative.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that makes sense.
The dude's in charge. Like, he is the lead guy creatively and the lead, period, the top dog at this fucking studio. Like, to me, this was inevitable. There was going to be a point that his job for Naughty Dog was going to have to pull him out of the show. So I think that there's some alarmism going on, and I think it's wrong. I think that this was always going to happen.
Sure.
It was just a matter of when. He goes on and says, co-creating the show has been a career highlight. It's been an honor to work alongside Craig Mazin to executive produce, direct, and write on the last 2 seasons. I'm deeply thankful for the thoughtful approach and the dedication, the talented cast, the crew that they all spent adapting The Last of Us Part 1 and continue adapting The Last of Us Part 2. So in my opinion, this isn't a big deal. This was going to happen.
Yeah, I just looked it up. I just wanted to see, because I know that Naughty Dog also did the Uncharted games, I think is what they did. And I just went and looked. The next major release for Naughty Dog is Intergalactic, their first IP in over a decade. Because all they've done is the remastered of Last of Us Part 2 and Last of Us Part 1. So it makes sense that, yes, we need something new from this game studio that hasn't done anything new for over a decade.
Yeah.
So just to further back up your point
Yeah.
and provide more foundation is that, yeah, they haven't done anything since the Last of Us Part 2 was the last new
Yeah.
game, which is
Yeah. And then-
over a decade
And
old.
there's been rumblings about, like, are they, like, potentially going to work on a Last of Us 3 and stuff like that. So yeah, this all seems very normal to me. Travis in the chat says Slither, talking about James Gunn's
Yeah.
horror background. So
Last of Us Part 2 came out in 2020, but that's a sequel to,
yeah.
so.
Yeah. Mike says new name, Illinois Smith. instead of
Yeah.
Indiana Jones. And then Travis says Kentucky Joe and the Barnyard of Despair. And then Mike says sounds like an adventure for bourbon, which
Yeah.
I'm all
There's,
about.
there's Tad's right there.
I'm all about that. He uses a lasso to wrangle a tractor. The sequel, The Kentucky Joe and the Keg of Anheuser. Good stuff. I love it. So that's not a huge surprise to me. So yeah. And like I said, ultimately in my mind, Mazin's still involved.
Yeah.
I'm there.
We're good.
So next up, we've got Street Fighter is making a movie.
Yeah.
And they have added they added a cast member, and there's a rumor for a second. The lesser of the two fighting games is getting its foot into the rebooting their films in the modern day, getting in on that act.
Tad's such a Mortal Kombat fan.
I mean, indeed. First of all, they have officially cast the brilliant David Dashmalian as M. Bison, the lead villain of the game. Next up is only a rumor, but the rumor is the role of Gael is going to be played by professional wrestler Cody Rhodes. That's just a rumor at this point.
I mean, it's perfect casting, really.
Yeah, it says, so Gael, if anyone doesn't know, is a U.S. Air Force colonel with an iconic flat top and the iconic sonic boom projectile. Also, Gael was played by Jean-Claude Van Damme in the original, while M. Bison was also played by the late Raul Julia in the original. I will say also, the original movie, not great, not good at all, but one of the greatest scenes. There's a great scene from it that stands out, and it's the girl confronting Bison. And he like wiped out her village or whatever, and she's like goes and says this whole thing about it or whatever, and he's like, I don't remember. And she's like, you don't remember? You massacred my whole town or whatever. He's like, understand, lady. He's like, for you, the day that Bison came into your village was like the most important day of your entire existence. For me, it was just Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's just fucking iconic.
It's a great
It's
line.
so good. We'll get, and also because I've got to like balance it out as a tried and true Mortal Kombat fan, I don't have a slide for it.
Yeah.
But the rumor is we're getting the MK2 trailer before the end of the month.
Yep.
So very excited for that.
My wife is very excited. Her favorite wrestler right now is Cody Rhodes, so that's awesome. And then Travis says they should get Joe Hendry because he believes.
Okay, and then Mike says Van Damme needs a cameo.
Absolutely, he does.
Oh man. Yeah, let's see. So that's pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the Marvel realm. So John Watts once again.
Oh, we're
being
back
revisited,
at this.
talks about his exiting the Fantastic Four film. I think, so it wasn't called First Steps, but he was originally the director for the Fantastic Four movie for the MCU. So he wrapped, he was at this, so Joe wrapped the Spider-Man No Way Home and then was set to direct the first Family of Marvel and stepped away from it and then directed the much smaller scale film Wolves, starring George Clooney and Brad Pitt. Highly recommend that movie,
That's
by the
on,
way.
Apple. Yeah.
It's a really fun movie. At the Mediterranean Film Festival in Malta, he touched on this for the first time publicly. Quote, the emotional strain of having to go through all of those COVID protocols while also trying to make something creative, while also trying to make sure your cast and crew were safe, equals literally people could have died if you did something wrong. That and the post-production process was very difficult when you're doing visual effects work. There's a whole international component to it where you're using vendors from all over the world, and the supply chain had been interrupted by COVID. It was really hard to get effects done in a traditional way. He had signed on to do Fantastic Four before starting No Way Home, and then went on to say, quote, I realized I was out of gas. The COVID layer on top of making this giant movie layer, I knew I didn't have what it would take to make this movie great. I was just out of steam, so I just needed to take some time to recover. Everyone at Marvel totally understood. They had been through it with me as well, so they knew it was hard and draining experience. In the end, very but in the end, it was very satisfying. But at some point, if you can't do it at that level, you need, and you feel like you need for it to be great, then it's better to not do it. So that's respectable for sure. I remember being bummed when we heard
very
about it.
mature as well to be like, I don't know if I have the energy to do this. Like, instead of forcing it, he steps back.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see. Next up, we've got also from John Watts, No Way Home changed because of Reddit.
Really?
So once again, we have John Watts stuff from the Mediterranean Film Festival in Malta. He recalled, quote, we were writing the script and we were working on where we wanted to reveal the guys. And it always seemed like Peter was going to be sad because of Aunt May had just died and the portals were going to open and these two Spider-Men were going to step out. It was probably on a rooftop somewhere. It's all kind of hazy, but that was kind of the idea they had. Then I was on Reddit and I was looking at people who had already made fan art of, quote, this is probably what it's going to be like, and they had two Spider-Men getting revealed, and it was on a rooftop. So he said, quote, I was sad. Two Doctor Strange portals were opening, and two Spider-Men were stepping out. And I was like, well, we can't do that. If that's what everyone's expecting, then we obviously can't go that route.
Yeah.
So, which actually works for me, because can you imagine if that was when they actually got revealed? How much after May dying? Like, that wouldn't have worked.
No.
You couldn't have had, there would have been no fanfare. Like, people wouldn't have been they would have been so bummed out that you wouldn't have got a response.
It was so much better with Ned and MJ.
Yeah, for sure. But no, it's kind of interesting. Also, there's always the questions on Reddit, like, do you think so and so's ever sees these things on Reddit?
Yes,
It's like,
they do.
It sure seems like it. Now, the ones I don't buy though is the people like, do you ever think Stephen King checks these subreddits? I'm like,
no,
Stephen King
does not.
Stephen King doesn't know what Reddit is, guys. So, sorry to burst your bubble, but very very interesting though, and I'm glad that ultimately they found this, because I do think that wouldn't have worked as well, and also it would have felt a little bit more cliche. And again, everything else we got from them before that moment was so great that we're all the better for that happening, I think. So next up, we've got Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy returning to theaters. So Raimi's Spider-Man films are headed back to theaters in the fall, and this includes an extended version of Spider-Man 2, which has never been screened theatrically before. So Spider-Man hits on September 26th, Spider-Man 2.1 hits on September 27th, and Spider-Man 3 on the 28th of September. So then an encore is happening October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So
Okay.
if you want to go relive the old Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, that is your opportunity to go to see that.
There you go.
Next up, Punisher Special is going to be filming soon, and we also have a rumor on the villain.
Okay.
So Nexus Point News, which is semi-reliable, they're fairly new to me, but I went through and looked at their history, and I found some things that turned out to be true that, like, within the last year they had reported on that, like, we've now seen the things they were reporting on. Like, I can't remember, there was something for Thunderbolts, and there was something for Captain America. There was things where I was like, okay, they got that right, I'm like, okay.
All right.
It's enough to say they're at least somewhat reliable. So they said that the project will kick off mid-July, which is very soon, and will film through early August. Also, the rumor is that the villain is going to be the grotesque Ma Nucci. So Ma Nucci is the matriarch of the Nucci crime family and is very effective and successful in running her family. She goes after Frank when he kills her sons and heirs.
Oh.
In the comics, he basically kills everyone she cares about, burns down her house, and then has a group of polar bears eat her limbs off.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
How'd you get him to stop?
And then later, he runs into her after she's recovered, and her first thing to do is to crawl / slither, whatever it is, over to him and start biting his legs. So she still doesn't give up her hatred of him.
Damn.
So, very grotesque character too. The way she's designed in the comics, she's just very off-putting.
Okay.
Even with her limbs, but without the limbs, even more so.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting thing, and I think that fits Frank perfectly. Like killing off the sons, and like and if polar bears show up. The Punisher Special. Can you imagine? Oh man. Oh, so that'd be interesting. And the mob, Frank and the mob, that just feels like peas and carrots.
That goes hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly. Or no hands. So the case may be. Next up, there we go. Pedro.
Need a Coke in the background is what Mike says. No, the polar bears start coming in, and then Frank pops open a Coke.
No, it should be an RC Cola.
A tab.
So Pedro allegedly had to be reeled back on Reed. So Pedro told Vanity Fair, quote, "They had to keep on pulling me back from a very mid-Atlantic, early 60s kind of talking. They had this dialect coach that sort of was going to help us get into that kind of dialect. And I took to it so well, they were like, pull it back, talk more like yourself."
Wow.
So, but I do think some of it comes through. I mentioned it with that one trailer that I was like, there's something about his voice that's very different than anything we've ever heard from Pedro before.
Yeah.
So and he goes on and says, I had a really hard time doing that because I was so into the era, which for me was something to step into, and it was different than what we had seen before. I think that's what they've created, is something that we haven't seen before. And honestly, my only note, I wish they would have just let Pedro go for it. Like, I love that old Mid-Atlantic thing that like the old news anchors and stuff had. Like, it just like where they basically tried the whole Mid-Atlantic. The whole purpose behind it was you basically devoided yourself of any accent at all. Like the whole idea was to make a absolute sterile English voice that, like, when it was on a shitty garbled AM radio, people could still understand what you were saying.
Right.
And it's just, we hear it now and it's like, God, that sounds
weird.
That sounds old. That sounds like a baseball announcer from like the 40s. But I think that I wish they would have just let fucking Pedro go nuts with it. But
Travis had to dip out. Said it was good hanging with y'all this afternoon. Catch y'all later.
yeah, see you, Travis. Yeah, so that's I don't know. I love it. I can't wait to see this movie. I'm very excited for both July movies. Next up, we've got
Jurassic Park and Fantastic Four.
No.
Jurassic World and Fantastic Four. That's what you're excited for, right? You're going to see Jurassic World tonight, right?
Over My Dead Body.
Yeah.
Next up, rumor: Bella Ramsey is being eyed for Kitty Pryde.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, according to My Time to Shine H, a moderately reliable leaker, they say that the MCU is eyeing Bella for the role of Kitty Pryde in the reboot of X-Men. She is now 21, so it would be an older version of the character, though of course Bella can obviously play a little younger than her age. But yeah, I'm for it. I've loved Bella since Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
She just blew me away in that. So
She's killing it in the last.
she had a
one,
very
so.
terrible end in that, though.
Yeah.
What is she, like a 12-year-old girl and a giant grabbing her and smashing her?
Yeah.
Not good. But no, I love Bella, though. She'd be a great casting. Last thing we got before jumping into the main topic, we've got a rumor: the X-Men reboot is going to have 3 major villains. Very reliable scooper Alex Perez said the X-Men reboot will have 3 major villains, and sadly, none of them would be Magneto.
That's good.
Sad day. I mean, he's not a villain, but let's go on here. He said he is hearing it will be Senator Robert Kelly, familiar to X-Men fans.
Yeah.
Both cartoon and
That's the one that's like anti-mutant and like
Yeah.
the legislation and everything. The Registration Act, right?
Yeah, and he's been in the X-Men animated series. He was in the original X-Men movies. He was in the reboot series. So he's pretty common. Next up, Bolivar Trask, which we've seen with Peter Dinklage in the reboot series.
Yeah.
He's the man that creates the Sentinels.
The Sentinels, yeah.
And then third up, new to the screen, Mr. Sinister. So of course Kelly in the comics, Fox movies, the fear-mongering anti-mutant bigot. Trask is assigned to create Sentinels. Mr. Sinister was teased a few times in the Fox films, lightly teased, but never got paid off, never showed up. He's a centuries-old geneticist obsessed with perfection and a puppet master pulling the strings all throughout mutant history. So that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sad to see no Magneto, but that'd be cool.
I mean, it's been done.
He's the best though. Again, though, not a villain, so I guess that makes sense. Let's go over to the main topic where we are talking Secret Wars 1984 and 2015 comic runs. We've never done this before.
Yeah.
We've talked about it, I think, from the earliest days when we did our initial like brainstorm for topic ideas because we wanted to get a good chunk of topics on hand that we could pick from at any time. I think we ended up having half a dozen or more comic reads on there, but over time we've just never hit into any of them. So, but I decided to finally do it. We've got Secret Wars obviously on the horizon. I'm really glad we were able to hit this before Fantastic Four because what I want to do is talk through the comics, but then actually at the tail end I want to talk like, now that you've read them, let's talk MCU and what's coming. And I'm glad we're able to do it before the Fantastic Four comes out because I have a feeling there might be a slight different conversation to be had, which is going to be part of our Fantastic Four episode where it's like, I think every MCU thing we've done up to this point, we always have that thing where it's like, okay, we've talked about the movie, now let's talk about where does this leave us?
Where are we going next?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad this fell when it did. Let's I mean, I've got a bunch of notes, but I do want to just kind of start off. I have trivia. I have questions. I've also split it between the 84 and the 2015. First of all, just overall impression. What'd you think? You just background wise, you've read Batman comics, and then beyond that, you've not really dabbled much in comic.
Not much into the comic reading. No, I much preferred the 2015 over the 84. Series, but the 84 wasn't bad. It had a very compelling story that they're just randomly put there.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's kind of the thing is like let's talk a little bit because maybe everyone who's listening hasn't actually read the comics. The 1984 Secret Wars has a bunch of heroes just poof, they're on a random world.
Yeah.
Like literally that's the first panel. It's just like poof, here you are. Spider-Man, She-Hulk, Hulk, Captain Marvel, some X-Men, Magneto included, for some reason with the heroes side. It's interesting that one of the most villainous characters would be put there.
Slander.
And then a bunch of villains are also showed up. You got Doom, Galactus, Dr. Octavius, Enchantress is a Thor villain. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of her. Molecular Man. That's
Molecule Man.
Molecule Man. Thank you. Molecule Man, which we're going to have a conversation about Molecule Man because what the fuck? That guy's like the linchpin of both of these series.
Yeah. Yeah, and Doom, I mean, like, those are like your, like, if you got, peanut butter and jelly as your ingredients for a PB&J, you've got Molecule Man and Dr. Doom are your
and then the heroes and villains are the bread.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, no, for sure. So that did just bring me to one thing. So there's a lot of characters, because as I was reading, I kind of had you in mind. A lot of characters you knew. The MCU's done a lot of expanding. We're well beyond the realm of you only know the very, very tip-top Marvel characters. There's some pretty deep-cut characters that you're familiar with now. So when you ran into a character, you had no idea who they were. Mm-hmm. What was your thought process there? Did you, like, stop and look them up? Did you...
Nope.
No, you just
let the comic explain who they were, kind of thing. Like if someone was reading Marvel for the first time, kind of thing. So that's where I was. Like Enchantress was a big one. She's has a whole issue where her and Thor are just off canoodling together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is this lady?
Yeah. Yeah. Kind
They
of.
do a pretty good job of explaining it, but
Yeah.
honestly,
That's the one thing about the early comic era
Yeah.
is they were very good about, oh, so-and-so, my greatest nemesis. Like, it's very
Yeah.
cheesy dialogue, but I feel like they always kept in mind that, like, there could be a kid that this is their first comic they've ever
Exactly.
bought. So it's like it's very on the nose. There's not a lot of, like, I don't know how to say it. Like, you always get this idea that you have to have, like, all this knowledge to really jump into a comic.
Yeah.
But, like, in the old days, they really painted it out for you to where it's
Yeah.
like you wouldn't get super lost. Like, yeah, certainly you'd understand more if you had read more before, but you're not going to be completely like,
it
I
was
don't know what the
also-
fuck's going on.
it also wasn't also just the dialogue. Also, they would have the boxes that would be like, Spider-Man would be like, Dr. Octavius, Spider-Man's former mentor.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
like in the like the description box kind of thing, like
Yeah.
up, not a thought bubble or anything like that. It's just like,
Like an editor's note almost.
yeah. But then also what they would do, I noticed, is that they would be like, you tried to kill me. See issue 2. You know, like it would like point back.
I love that,
The
dude.
previous episodes, like, wait, when did that happen? Let me go look.
Yeah, I really think that at some point Deadpool needs to do that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, like they could have done it in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's imagine when, like, what's his name shows up, the freaking Beast thing, and it just says, you know, instead of him giving the dialogue of, I just blanked on the name of the show, the TVA, what show? Loki season 2 episode whatever. Instead of him saying that, if they would have
It
just
should've
popped
just
up on
been
the
the yellow
screen
box
with
saying it.
with the asterisk saying "See Loki season 2 episode 5" or whatever, that would have been fucking hilarious.
Mike says AMA citation.
Yeah.
So the story is like, initially the heroes and villains are literally face to face, and then there's this voice that says, I am the Beyonder, I am all powerful.
which you're familiar with now because of What If, right?
Yeah, I will grant you whatever you wish if you slay your enemy. And so the villains, naturally being villains, jump into attack, and there's a battle. The heroes win, drive the villains off, and everyone goes separate into their separate bases.
Yeah.
And then there's a story from there. It's like people are trying to figure out, how do we win? Doom kind of leads the villains. Captain America kind of leads the heroes and everything. So there's this whole battle going on this planet
Yeah.
that's a compilation of other worlds.
Yeah.
Like they just pick up a slice and just ram it together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, indeed. And then the Tale of the Tape, this was published in May 1984 through April 1985. That's the other thing that's wild. Think about that. That's a year
yeah.
that this was coming out. That's insane to think about at times. Like, it's easy to forget it nowadays. Like it's an event. You buy an omnibus or you go and
Yeah.
go to the app and you can just click the next issue and stuff. But it's like, man, in the real time, like, that is
I mean, it's the same thing as like when you go on Netflix and you watch Breaking Bad. Like,
Yeah.
you had to wait years for the next,
Yeah.
a year for the next season.
yeah,
Me, I just let that countdown thing go and I watch it.
lucky bastard.
I know, right?
Yeah, and then it was written by Jim Shooter, and this is the 1984 version, which is also Marvel's editor-in-chief at the time. So that's just some background. My artists, Michael Zeck was the main penciler with Bob Layton, and among others. This was a pretty big thing, so there's a lot of
Yeah.
artists involved in this. So, yeah, that's kind of the tale of the tape, I suppose. So I have some points of trivia.
Okay.
Did you read anything about the background, the trivia, anything?
Nope.
Excellent. So in true 1980s fashion, this entire thing was about toys.
Of course.
Literally, the entire idea of this story came from Mattel, who came to Marvel and said, "Hey, can we create something that we could just build a toy line around, like an event of some kind, maybe?" And so that literally is what this came from.
Led to Secret Wars.
Yes. So originally it was titled Cosmic Champions.
Okay.
But Mattel had a focus group with children, and they found that kids responded more positively to terms like wars and secret. So,
Okay.
Secret Wars.
So they literally
Like,
took
this is
They
literally,
literally took the top two answers and just mashed them together.
this is literally like we always talk shit on like boardroom making
Yeah.
decisions creatively. Like, this is an example, sadly, of like this was 100% just a capitalistic
Yep.
boardroom thing. So, yeah.
Someone over there was snorting cocaine and goes, Secret Wars. I like it. Print it.
It's like, oh, that's a two top terms.
The very J. Jonah Jameson type character was like that.
Yeah. So in fact, the Black Spider-Man suit, which makes its first ever appearance here, would eventually evolve into the symbiote and Venom, which I think you kind of got that vibe probably.
Yep.
The only reason that was created was because
New Spider-Man.
kids had Spider-Man toys already. But
Yeah.
if he had a new suit,
Oh, now I need the black suit Spider-Man.
you gotta have that one, man.
Yeah.
So, and I don't mean, in spite of all this, like obviously it's a good story. It's one of the more iconic runs of all time. So it's like, despite having less than perfect artistic origins, it
Yeah.
obviously has grown into something great. So
They still turned it into something good.
yeah, for sure. Mel Brooks voice merchandising.
Merchandising.
Oh man. Let's see. The Black Spider-Man suit was not thought of by any of the creative folks. It was come up with by a fan.
Really?
The 22-year-old aspiring writer Randy Schuler submitted an idea to Marvel as part of a contest, and his idea was the Black Spider-Man suit, and he was paid $200 to buy the idea off of him.
Oh, damn.
And that was the origins
And that turns into Venom.
of Down the Road Venom, one of the more popular, albeit overrated. Sorry, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, we understand. How's that Spider-Man 2 game going?
Oh, I'm not nearly to 2 yet. I haven't even got through 1.
Yeah.
Then I got Miles Morales to play.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate.
Venom.
I don't know what I hate worse, the symbiotes or the fucking what's their name?
Raven?
No, in the first game. Fuck, I'm fighting them right now. The guy
Demons?
Sable.
Sable.
Sable. I hate those
Yeah.
bastards. All right. Also, the characters used in the story were also used because Mattel felt these would be the strongest toy sales. So
Okay.
when you were mentioning like just this random assortment of characters, it's
Yep.
like it's not the whole X-Men team and like the whole like no, there's like bits and pieces of Avengers, X-Men, the Fantastic Four. Like it is an amalgamation, and I think
Yeah.
it all works for the story. But it's funny, like, and I'm glad you didn't look any of this up so that you can now find out after the fact. Or it's just
It makes
like-
sense.
And it's the '80s. Like a lot of people don't realize, like some of this shit that's like iconic, probably for kids a little older than us, was all about like He-Man was only created for toys. Like
Yeah.
that was the entire basis of that cartoon.
Yeah.
Like it just. So like then that so it wasn't. I'm saying that was not this is not a unique thing. The '80s is
No.
all about like, hey, look
Yeah,
look what George Lucas just did with fucking Star Wars. Like
Yeah,
let's
so
fucking,
as much as we like shit on it, it very much is the thing of the 80s for kids stuff.
Yeah.
Is how many toys can you
yeah,
sell
GI
on
Joe.
top of it?
GI Joe got a whole
yeah.
TV show. It
Yep.
was before our era, really, but like
I watched the shit out of GI Joe actually.
really,
Yeah.
but it was before our time in terms of like kids probably 5-ish years older than us were like grew up on like GI Joe, He-Man, like and all of those.
And then a little bit later in the 80s, you got the Ninja Turtles and Transformers. And,
Yeah.
Oh man, Transformers.
Transformers
was
is huge. Yeah. So it's
And they got like movies made because they wanted to sell toys.
yeah,
So-
100%, and like how they come up with all these Transformers. Like, oh, it turns into a cassette tape, and like it's like why do you think that is? Because it's a perfect toy.
Yep.
So, oh.
And then in the 90s, they did the Beast Wars. Oh, now they turn into animals. You
Yeah.
know, like everything. So
Yeah, indeed. Despite this, it was a massive hit. It sold on average 750,000 copies per issue, and often, especially in the early issues, topped 1 million copies.
Damn.
So this was actually this was the most successful comic book run in terms of sales in 25 years. So this was just like reverberating. Like this
Yeah.
this blew everything out of the water. Nobody really grasped how big this was going to be, and it really was. So.
Mike said I had GoBots, Army Ants, and all the now obvious cash grabs.
Yeah, exactly. The Kmart versions of everything.
Yep.
Yeah. I know how that is. So it ran from May 84 to April 85. It was Marvel's first ever 12-issue event series. They had done some different events before, but never to this scale. Like again, taking
Yeah.
an entire year where it's like this is what's coming out. It's just it's pretty unique. Also, all of the interconnected comics all saw huge sales spikes. So because like you kind of probably got that sense where it's like not only what was going on here, but also like the X-Men books, the Fantastic Four books, those tied into this. So like
Yeah.
it's kind of like when we always talk on the other show with like Dark Tower, where it's like you have extended reading orders. With any of these events, you can just mainline the event, but also if you wanted to just like read every comic that came out that year, it's all going to come together to the singular like events.
Yeah, there's an issue of Spider-Man where Spider-Man disappears, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then or like there will be a run during that same year of Spider-Man where like it's him on Battle World doing shit that you're not seeing in the Secret Wars proper.
Okay.
So it's like it really is a massive all-encompassing story, and because of that, every book saw massive fucking spikes in sales
Yeah.
because everyone was like eating this up.
Well, I want more.
Yeah. So despite despite all this being the most successful comic run in 25 years, the toy line kind of flopped. Kids do not care for the toys over things like G.I. Joe and He-Man.
Oh, that's funny.
The toy line being, even though it was the origins, it just didn't really move the needle. Although
Marvel doesn't give a shit. They got paid.
they got big dividends. It was the first true crossover that really mattered. Both major companies had done crossovers before, but never one that was company wide, and never one that was had a coordinated publishing strategy like this one. Like I said, like every book kind of stopped what they were doing and was like tied into this, even if they weren't.
Yeah, because you had the people making Spider-Man, you had the people making Hulk, you had the people making X-Men, you had the people making Avengers.
Yeah.
And you had the people making, Fantastic Four. Those were different. It's like
Different books,
It's like
yeah.
the MCU now.
Yeah.
The people
Different
making
franchises.
The people making Shang-Chi 2 are not the people who are making Ironheart, and not
Correct,
the people who
yes.
are making Daredevil Born Again.
Perfect,
So
yeah.
it's imagine if all those stopped and made a series all together.
Yeah. And Mike says, would this concept be the forefather of Infinity War? Indeed, it would.
Yeah.
This, and that's actually my. I have a couple more notes. That'll get into it, Mike. So funny enough, DC followed suit with Crisis on Infinite Earth in 1985. So literally months after this one ended, Crisis on Infinite Earth started on the DC side, which is
Okay.
the first major. So. There's a lot of people that try to argue like that. No, this wasn't a direct response to Secret Wars. And I'm like, really?
Come on.
Really?
Come
May
on.
1984, they're seeing millions of issues sold, most popular book in 25 years.
Yeah.
You telling me that within a couple months, DC wasn't like, okay, we've got to start ours. And it took them till, 85 to get there, but they got there.
Also, probably waited till it was over and the dust settled a little bit, and everyone's like, "Man, I really wish I could go for another Secret Wars." Crisis on Infinite Earth. What is that?
Yeah. And a heavy criticism of both brands is that they have both become very formulaic in the last 40 years, and these big events seem to crop up every year or two. It's almost real legit. There's something that people bitch about this where it's just like, it's almost not even like people don't even care almost anymore because it
Yeah.
feels like there's a massive event that ties into a bunch of shit that is happening every year now, and it all just seems like it kind of like after the death of Superman, there was a big spike in like the death of fill in the blank, and it was just a sales grab where it's
The
like,
death
oh my,
of Wolverine, the death of Spider-Man.
yeah, it's like, oh my God, look at the sales spike they had with the death of Superman. We got to do something to say. So it's a very copycat industry for sure. But
But
is
it's also like what we talked about after Endgame. We've seen several movies. Avengers, not Endgame, but the first Avengers, where everyone's rushing to get a
connected universe.
a connected universe.
The Universal Monsters had
And
tried
it's-
one. DC tried one.
There's a bunch that have tried it, and
they
it's just like
crashed
it's
and
like
burned.
None of them worked.
No.
And because none of them were willing to lay the groundwork that the MCU did.
Do the hard work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did it for years ahead of
Like
time.
DC tried to basically jump into it. What in the third movie?
Yeah, they did Justice League with one movie setting it up, I think.
Well, you had Man of Steel, then there was Batman versus Superman, then Justice League, right?
Yeah, so it's
It's
like the third movie we're doing a Justice League.
Third
movie?
or fourth. It was very early
No,
on. Yeah. It was like
you gotta establish it more and everything like that. And so, Mike says formulaic 80s television industry would like to have a word.
Yeah. And I could see where people are coming from because the reason this was so special is because it had never been done before. And I'm not saying you should never do it again, but it should be a thing.
Not every
you
year.
choose when you do this. And this
Yeah.
should be like an every 5 to 10 year thing where it's like, oh my God, there's a big fucking event.
What's the meme? If everything is a crisis, nothing
Yes,
is a crisis.
if everything's a big tie-in event, then nothing is. Like
Yeah.
it becomes
That's just the norm.
Yeah, exactly. And then also comic books aren't cheap these days. And so people look at it where it's like, hey, well, if I collect Fantastic Four, X-Men, and Iron Man, and they do this big crossover event, well, now I've got 12 new books I've got to buy, or 8, 9, whatever books it is for this event. It's like, because Iron Man's in it, I'm going to have to buy that. So now you've just bilked me out of 10 more comics that I have to buy that I wouldn't otherwise have bought because I've got to have it type thing. And it's like, so it is just it could be.
It feels like a cash grab, and
Yes.
it's like no, we're not doing that.
And all I'm saying that to say though is because it's still formulaic today shows how big this was in the time.
It's been going since this came out.
Yeah, this kind of changed the entire paradigm of comics. It established the model that is still used today, including these couple points here. Event miniseries at the center with tie-ins for major titles. That's obviously been copied almost every year. Lasting consequences, big deal, because comic books are kind of like old TV sitcoms where it's like you could do whatever the fuck you want in that 25-minute episode, but at the end of it, they got to be right back to where they were at square one.
Yep.
It's because they're not going to play in order, so it's just shit's got to reset. Like Dad could lose his job, but he's got to get it back by that 24.5-minute mark because like the next episode he's gonna have his job again.
Yep.
So this had lasting consequences though, and then big character moments, costume changes, breakups, or deaths. Like those are kind of the formula pieces that this established that you would see forever in the future with all of these goddamn events. So this event also elevated.
These become like the pay-per-views for wrestling. It's like yeah, you have your normal Raw and SmackDowns and everything like that, but at the PLEs, that's where the titles change.
Yeah, exactly.
So when a death happened in a regular issue, it's like holy shit, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I do have a bunch of questions, so don't worry, I'm not just dominating with the trivia and points, but I do think this kind of stuff's interesting. This event would elevate Doctor Doom from a heavy Fantastic Four villain to a top echelon villain for the broader Marvel universe.
Yeah,
and he would never retract again. Like he's now. Like I've told you for years, like Doom's like an Avengers level guy. He doesn't have to just be a Fantastic Four guy, and this is the start of that. Also, him becoming a god here would drive a lot of his plot points for the rest of his existence. Like this kind of redefined Doom.
Still to this day.
To this day, yeah, exactly. Ben Grimm got a spin-off series, The Thing, between 1983 and 1986. Because if you remember, at the end of this, Ben
left
stays.
behind.
Yeah, he stays
because he's able to. He learns how to be able to
change back to
like
Ben.
Change in between human and the Thing.
Yeah. The Colossus stuff reverberated into the 616 and changed he and Kitty's relationship dynamic forever. Like,
really?
They had a very, because they were dating, they were like an item, and he obviously cheats on her and on Battle World, and so like that just completely
Yeah, he like fell in love with her. I can't pronounce her name.
No one can.
Zaja or something like that.
Yeah.
He falls in love with her like head over heels and almost doesn't come back
because of her. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the beginning of the evolution of Magneto from a complicated villain to eventually a full-on hero that would eventually lead the X-Men. So this was kind of the beginning steps of that.
Oh, okay.
And also, I think you probably caught on to this, but Iron Man is Rhodey.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they say it.
Yeah. But
it literally says his name. He's like, you didn't expect to have a black man under here, and he's like, yeah. And then it shows him by himself. He's like, I'm Rhodey. And it's like,
yeah.
All right.
So Tony is dealing with alcoholism on Earth during this event. So, So now jumping over to the questions for 84. So before reading this, how much did you know about Secret Wars, either from cultural osmosis or from me?
There's a Secret Wars-esque couple episode run in X-Men.
Yeah, with the dinosaur planet thing.
There's where
they all get pulled into that. Where
that's part of
Xavier can walk. And,
I think that's different. It might be the same, but there's like this creature that's like a mechanical spider on bottom, and then
this TV show guy,
like the Job of the it's like a TV show.
Yeah, he's like a reality, the intergalactic reality guy.
That's all I knew.
Yeah,
that's it. That's
okay.
I thought it was an X-Men exclusive thing until you told me that we're reading Secret Wars. Like you said when we were starting the podcast, you're like Secret Wars, and I'm like the X-Men, and you're like, no, that's like all of Marvel, and I was like, oh. Dinosaur Planet thing. That's why I watch Geekery Abides, Mike says.
It's what it was. I mean, yeah, you're right though, because he's the reality. He has basically a reality show for the galaxy.
It's like the X-Men have to fight each other.
He pulls the X-Men in, and they go through all this kind of shit. But there's also like the Dinosaur World thing that gets Xavier and Magneto pulled in. And they're together.
Is it's like a secret entrance in like Antarctica or something like that.
Something, yeah.
So I want to believe that's where the fucking conspiracy theory comes from. Is someone was high and watching X-Men one day and was like, oh my God, there's a jungle under Antarctica. There's still dinosaurs.
You're saying that people smoking pot were sitting at home watching Saturday morning cartoons?
Eating cereal? That sounds about right, doesn't it? And then all of a sudden there's a conspiracy nut on the internet saying there's a jungle underneath Antarctica?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's a little too on the nose, isn't it?
But you picked up some stuff from me, though, over the years.
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, the big
thing...
thing...
What were you expecting going in?
The big thing I expected was heroes versus villains, big fights. I had no idea that the Beyonder and that there was a prize. Never knew that.
Okay.
I just thought that someone was doing it. I had the X-Men reality show thing twisted in my mind. I literally thought it was for someone's entertainment. I picture someone like Galactus, big godlike type figure that's just like toys.
Yeah.
Spider-Man versus Doom, and you got Mr. Fantastic versus Dr. Octavius. You know, people who would never fight.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's what I thought I was getting. That's not at all what it was.
Yeah. Based on all that, did this play out like you expected then?
No.
Like just completely different than...
No, way different than what I expected.
Okay. Also, because this is me and you, we've got to throw things around.
Okay.
Which Batman villain do you think would be the best on Battle World?
The best Batman villain on Battle World?
And
Oh,
also,
dude.
the second part of my question, and why is it Penguin?
No. No.
Dude, Penguin would fucking kill it, dude.
Penguin is worthless. He has to have goons. You need a villain that actually has some...
Doom
some-
has goons in this.
No, Doom uses the other villains as goons.
Yeah.
Penguin would not... No one would respect him. He's short. He looks like a penguin. He waddles.
He's wearing a tuxedo.
They can't stand Doom because he wears a mask. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing.
But who would you
If
say
you're
then?
going to say anyone that's going to make an impression, I would honestly go with Freeze. Because I love the whole, like, science aspect of it where, like, certain villains aren't able to figure things out, but Doom's able to, like, oh, I can program this to, like, blow up the planet. Well, I won't do that, you know.
Yeah.
And everything. Mr. Fantastic figures out how to lock them away in prison and stuff like that. So I think adding Freeze, who's, like, smarter than most villains, I think that's where it would be interesting. Not to mention Freeze Ray.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like add that Freeze Ray into it.
Yeah.
That changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah. So Spider-Man just puts on an alien suit he finds in a random machine.
Well, he didn't understand.
without asking any questions.
No, he didn't
Come on, Peter.
Dude, it was an accident, all right?
Come on.
Don't even.
It's like, what is it? What was that? Not Alien. What was the alien? Prometheus, where the scientist like just sees that plant and starts poking at it.
Still haven't seen it.
He's just a scientist.
Yeah.
He's like, oh look, this alien fucking plant on this goddamn planet. It's opened up a little bit. Let me fucking put my finger in it. Like, are you dumb? Come on.
That's how you lose fingers.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, you cannot blame Peter for that. He was told, he's like, hey, how'd you get that new uniform? Oh, it's that computer in there. He goes into the computer and he's like, hey, look, this is the suit it made me? Okay. And then he's like, later on, he's like,
Is your guys' suit doing things?
does your suit do this? No, it's just cloth. Huh.
Did you Leo meme it though?
Oh, I knew it was Venom.
Okay.
I knew I mean, black suit, that's Venom, right? He never just has a random black suit.
They
It's
actually
always Venom.
for a short period. They actually changed in his proper comic to the black suit for a while too.
Yeah.
Like this was like it seemed like a permanent change at the
Yeah.
time. So that's
And then we found out about Venom.
yeah. So the Beyonder basically says whoever wins gets everything they want. What
Yep.
Marvel character do you think is the least trustworthy with that kind of reward?
Doom.
Doom, probably. Yeah, it's pretty hard to not pick Doom.
I mean-
He's- yeah,
I mean, I also would not want Magneto to win.
yeah. I mean,
I would be dead. So, not Magneto.
Homo and Furious or whatever. Homo Superior and Homo and Furious.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think DC could ever pull off something like Secret Wars? Could you see Superman and Joker dropped on the same planet, like battle planet type thing? Or I mean, we know they've done their big crossovers,
Yeah.
but it's always in a different context. Do you think it could work with DC, or do you think like the varying degrees of their cross things just wouldn't work very well? Like
I
again,
don't
Joker
think
and
I don't
Superman.
think it meshes as well. DC doesn't mesh as well.
Yeah,
Like, you have villains that play in other people's sandboxes, and you have heroes that go to different cities and everything like that. It just doesn't cross-pollinate as well for me. Like,
Yeah.
when Batman shows up in Central City, the villains there are tailored for a speedster.
yeah,
Whereas if you look at the villains of Marvel, Dr. Octavius, Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Spider-Man, She-Hulk, Wasp, all of those work with Dr. Octavius.
yeah,
But now you take the villains who are speedsters. How do you have Reverse Flash go against Batman?
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And
No,
just-
yeah.
it's unrealistic.
It's why I always,
you know?
and then you might think I'm being like poo-pooing Batman, but it's why I always say like the whole Spider-Man Batman swap can't work. Spider-Man's villains are all fucking superhuman because Spider-Man
Is a
can
superhuman.
get fucking a bus thrown at him and he'll stand back up and keep
Yeah.
fighting. Like, so his villains proportionally have to be made to like
it's whenever,
hurt and harm
Yeah,
and,
it's-
and stop him.
Yeah.
So it's like for Batman that isn't super, like it's just like Spider-Man, he would fucking kill the Joker. Not that he's trying to, but if he like didn't think it through and just thought like, oh, I could punch him like I punch like
Craven.
Craven. It's like then he punches Joker and his fucking head explodes. It's like, oh my god, what the fuck?
Oh my god, I'm Superman.
Like yeah, he's just oh my god, he's just a human. Like I thought
Yeah.
he was like a superhuman clown.
I thought he was a superhero.
Like, yeah. So, but that's to your point, though. Yeah,
Supervillain.
like the people are crafted to their villains, and
Yeah.
that's what makes them great.
I
so.
think DC does it more so than Marvel does, because honestly, Marvel has been doing it longer. That villains do cross pollinate sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, Craven has shown up in other things besides Spider-Man.
Yeah, and they did it long before this. Like
Exactly.
this is '84. Like you can go back to like the '60s and read the early era shit, and there's like early crossovers where it's like, whoa, shit! Like here's fucking Doctor Doom in a X-Men comic. Like
Yeah.
what the fuck? And this is 20-something years before
Right.
Secret Wars makes it like a normal thing to do these big crossovers.
Yeah.
So,
So I just don't think DC works as well because the villains are more tailor made for the heroes.
Mike says, how would Luthor do in Marvel? I think you do great because it's kind of in the same vein as like a Dr. Octopus, or like the super geniuses.
Yeah.
Doom is really smart. Like, and now he would have to certainly adjust, but I think like think about how Luthor would like see like the mutants and how people react and how he would manipulate that.
Oh, yeah.
and just like he'd become president just on like scaremongering people with mutants
Oh, absolutely.
and like
He would run on a platform of no mutants.
yeah, I mean, it would just now he might run afoul some people, but he's very good at manipulating people. I mean,
Yeah.
if he can manipulate the DC universe against Superman at times, which he has, and Batman and stuff, how easy would it be for him to go to like Marvel and see like, oh my god, like these people are fucking absolute bigots against mutants. Like, I could use this.
Also, Spider-Man already has a built-in campaign against him. I mean, J. Jonah Jameson out there slandering his name everywhere he can.
He's a menace.
Jameson? Yes, he is.
No, Spider-Man. Okay, so getting close to the end of the questions on this one. Who's your favorite character in this version?
In this version, Doom.
Doom?
So fascinating.
Yeah.
I think it's just because I don't know enough about him.
Yeah.
Captain America was boring as fuck. Like, seriously, he was so boring. Oh, my God, he was bored the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
We need to organize. We need to prepare for a counterattack. We need to do this. We need to do that. And I'm just like, good God, Cap. Get a personality, man.
All right, favorite story beat?
Favorite story beat?
Like favorite moment, favorite kind of what are some moments that stand out? What are
I'm not gonna lie, I love the Spider-Man suit. Like him finding out that he's like, wait, you guys' suit doesn't do this, dude. That is such Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of that happening to Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Like something like that happen because I get to see Tom Holland playing it perfectly as well.
yeah.
Honestly, probably my favorite part is Wolverine fucking dressing down Captain America.
yeah.
That was amazing. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're all for fighting for, everyone's rights. When have you ever fought for my rights?
yeah.
When do you stand up for mutants, you piece of shit?" Dude, Wolverine dressed him down.
And I think what's great too is you've only ever really been exposed to Wolverine in like the movies, which I think
Yeah.
they've always drawn Wolverine back to where you never see Wolverine fully sold for like the mutant cause, where he
Oh,
is in
yeah.
the comics. Like he's 100% invested. He, whatever.
That's why he's a member of the X-Men. He's
yeah.
just trying to defend mutants.
Exactly, and in the movies, we've yet to truly get him there, or when we have, we jump so far where it's like, oh, Logan, and then or X-Men and Wolverine, where it's like, oh, I went out to drink and they came and massacred everyone, and like, so like we've yet to see in the movies where Wolverine's truly like fully sold, fully invested. He's always kind of the lone wolf that's
Yeah.
like reluctantly getting pulled into shit, like, and so I'm glad you're finally able to kind of see like the difference. I'm glad you liked it, where it's
Yeah,
like,
he calls Captain America out on his shit.
because
And
that
it's
sounds
just
more like something in the movies you'd expect Scott to give that kind of dressing down,
Yeah.
right? He's more of like the we mutants, right? I'm the team lead. We mutants get fucked over, whereas Wolverine's just sitting in the back, whatever, man, quit bitching. So
whatever. I just need a beer.
yeah, and it's cool. I'm glad you liked it. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that exchange really was. And then I love that the Cyclops comes to their defense later,
Yeah,
defending Magneto. And that's amazing to see Captain America defending Magneto.
yeah, or
because-
Scott, you mean?
No, he defends Magneto. he like full on is like, because like some of like the Avengers or Fantastic Four people were like, there's Magneto, kick his ass, and he's like, no, stand down, because he's in charge of them.
Yeah.
They elected him leader. He's like, stand down. This man is here fighting Galactus, and he's helping us. Like, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
So he actually defends Magneto.
Yeah.
And everything. So,
Yeah.
I will say, honestly, I preferred Magneto over Professor Xavier as well. Dude, Charles was a dick.
That's the thing. Charles and Reed are kind of dicks. Like,
Yeah.
that's just their nature. And I think the films have never done that properly. And I think they're like, I'm hoping that Pedro is a dick in a certain way, just because Reed's always been that way, and Xavier is the same. Like, there's just an element where the movies have always like sterilized
There's
those characters to being more like wholesome and nice, and it's like Xavier always is kind of a prick. I don't know why.
I've always gotten the impression that Reed is kind of like that good-looking guy, way too smart for his own good, and is just so nervous around girls. That's how I always picture Reed. That's how I've always been given the impression of him. Is that he's like, oh, I'm going to do this experiment. You're welcome to stay and wash me if you want. You know, kind of awkward kind of guy. But in this one, yeah, he absolutely is like.
Very
and so, like,
abrasive.
if we
Very
take this compound and mix it with this compound and we do this, and Johnny's over there just like, dude,
yeah.
we get it. You're smart.
And,
Fuck.
and the thing is, the way I'd explain it is with the MCU, Tony Stark, especially early on, he's very condescending, smartest guy in the room. He'll tell you he's the smartest guy in the room.
That's how Reed is.
But no, here's the difference.
Yeah.
Here's the difference. Tony, though, does have charm. And there's just an element
Reed
that
doesn't.
that charm goes a long way. So subtract that charm out and have all that condescension, have all that I'm smarter than you, have all that I'm the smartest person in the room. None of you are near my level. But then take all that charm away and there's Reed.
That's Reed.
And like, so he's just very abrasive.
Yeah.
People don't like him. There's even audience people that are just like,
He's
it's
kinda a dick.
it's hard to like Reed all the time.
No, but
'Cause there's
Xavier,
times he is just a dick.
Yeah, Xavier in this it's an interesting aspect because everyone pictures Charles Xavier in a wheelchair. Hovering wheelchair, that's Xavier, right?
Yeah.
In this one, he can walk. And so because he can walk, he's like, okay, I'm the leader.
taking over.
I'm the leader of the X-Men.
Yeah.
And Storm's like, excuse you, bitch, I'm the leader of the X-Men.
Yeah.
And Cyclops even has a thought, maybe I should be the leader of the X-Men because I've had more battle experience than both of them combined.
Yeah.
And Storm even calls Charles out on it. She's like, hey, you have zero battle experience. Like,
Yeah.
you prep us before missions.
Yeah, you're a teacher.
You're a teacher. You coach us and everything, but then you send us out to play the game.
Yeah.
I'm the quarterback. I've been
Yeah.
out here slinging the ball, scoring touchdowns and everything like
Taking
that.
the hits, yeah.
And now you're just all of a sudden going to step in and say, I'm in charge?
Yeah.
He really pissed me off a lot.
Yeah, that follows. Mike says Patrick Stewart could have played a dick Professor X. He did an amazing job at Captain Ahab and Scrooge. Also, the Green Room,
Oh, yeah.
pretty big villain there. Any other thoughts before we jump over to 2015?
I did have one thing. Obviously, I think that the killing everyone is going to be done. That could be a cliffhanger. That could also be just like a mid movie thing where it's just like I killed everyone by Doom.
Yeah.
But I did want to comment, man, kind of anticlimactic at the end. I get it. You can't kill everyone. There were some deaths. You know, the lizard's dead. The wasp was dead, but then she came back.
Yeah.
Doom disappears with sound.
Yeah.
There's a couple deaths, but not. We had Zages or whatever, the healer.
Yeah.
Colossus's love that he leaves Kitty for.
Yeah.
But realistically, at the end of it, it's just like the Beyonder gets his powers back, and then zap Soundman is his name, and Doom away, and everyone else is just kind of like, okay, so can we go home?
Yeah. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Like the last 4 or 5 pages is just like, what do we do now? Like, there's no big final fight, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like it just kind of ends. So I'm intrigued if they do this in any way, in either in Doomsday or in Secret Wars. I wonder what their ending is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a through line. I want to talk about the ending of 2015 as well.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But it's just also kind of like,
We'll speed through 15 a little bit more. There's a little bit less like trivia and stuff just because
Yeah.
it's not as long standing and iconic. So, Tale of the Tape, May 2015 through January 2016, 9 issues. It was originally intended to be 8, but they gave it an extra one.
Yep.
It was written by Jonathan Hickman. Artist is Esteban Rebic. This was a culmination of a 3-year epic run by Jonathan Hickman. He had been building up to this since 2012 in Avengers and New Avengers by introducing the Incursion storyline. So already sounds way familiar to us MCU
sounds
fans.
very familiar.
This was designed as a soft reboot to clean up continuity while creating an epic and cohesive story. It allowed them to merge things like the Ultimate Universe with the base 616. Miles Morales has never crossed over before this moment with the proper MCU. The Ultimate Universe is where Miles was at. That's where like Sam Jackson, Nick Fury, like the Ultimate Universe was kind of a reboot moment for it's like, let's just start over. Let's be able to throw everything out and do new shit. And that's where they're like, oh, like what if we made fucking Samuel Jackson Nick Fury instead of the old guy with the white fucking flat top and shit. And it just allowed them to really do some interesting things. And like this is the point now where that had
This is the death of that.
That had survived a while. Now it's like, hey, let's just merge these universes and quit juggling 2 universes. So this was huge as everything stopped publishing and was replaced by alternate universe or Battle World tie-ins. Marvel Publishing had not done a connected thing to this level since the 1980s, so since the last Secret Wars. Things like Old Man Logan and Planet Hulk were part of this. Those runs that we are now iconic for. I mean, Old Man Logan was the basis of the Logan movie. Planet Hulk is still a rumor of like, can that be a movie maybe?
Yeah.
Like
they've done an animated movie of it.
those, exactly.
Yeah.
Those were subsets because like you saw that map in the beginning of the 2015 one.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the Marvel universe, you're jumping to a lot of those places to see like, oh, in this Nordic area is literally Hulk land. There's millions of Hulks living in this area, and there's just all these different things. So every comic, so iconic, classic things came out of this, even if they were the tie-ins. So. It was a critical success and still is one of the most beloved modern Marvel events. It was legitimately the end of the 616 and 610, which is the Ultimate Universe, and it was not undone in the classic comic take-back fashion. Like nothing reverted back. Like what came at the end of this was like is what we still exist with today. So
10 years later, this is still reverberating down the line.
Yeah, and the universe on the other side of this finally had Miles in the proper 616. What did you think about him giving a cheeseburger to Molecule Man? That legit being the reason that he's brought into the Marvel universe.
It's
It's
so
so
funny.
random, but I love it. Like
You have
it's-
a burger in your pocket. It's like 8 years old. No, I mean, I don't know if you can count the stasis
it was
time.
stasis. Okay, so it's 3 months old or whatever.
So it's 3 weeks
Or
old.
3
He's like,
weeks, yeah.
And Molecular Man's just like nom nom nom.
Yeah. So then jumping over to the questions, what did you think of God Doom?
That
this?
was very.
You said you
intriguing.
preferred this of the two.
I did prefer this one. Starting off, the Incursion was very confusing.
Yeah.
Trying to,
because
I don't know who's 616. I don't know who's Ultimate.
Yeah,
You know, like it's kind of.
and you understand the idea of incursions because of the MCU, but you didn't read any of the lead up stuff. So
No.
you like everything that Hickman had been
Dude,
building for
it's-
2 years.
it
Like
started off hot.
yes,
Like you have two worlds, Incursion happening. One is going to survive, and instead of that, we have Doom World,
yeah,
where Doom is God,
yeah,
and all these characters are not the normal self. Like there's a fucking army of Thors. There's 80
Thor Corps.
there's like 85 Thors and 85 Mjolnirs.
and they're his like Gestapo.
Yeah, they're like his foot soldiers and everything.
I love it. The Thor
And-
Corps.
And everything, and they're not all human either. Like there was
No.
a fucking boar that was
Yeah,
one of them.
yeah,
And then so we get that, and then to see Doom as God and everything, and
with
dude,
Reed's family.
yeah, having Reed's wife and kids calling him husband and dad
On
and
a
everything.
scale of 1 to 10, for villainous scale, taking Reed's family. Where does that
dude,
rank?
that's a 9 easy.
That's so brutal.
That's a 9. That means he's sleeping with his wife.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
and his kids are calling him dad.
yeah.
That's brutal, dude. That's oh man.
There's one point where Valeri says, "Here's Daddy," and I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Ooh."
Yeah. So yeah, that hit my one note about the scale 1 to 10. What did you think of the Thor Corps? You mentioned it. What did you think?
I mean, it was fascinating as fuck, and to see him like Like you see like one coming of age and like going through the trial and everything like that. So
Yeah.
really interesting. We don't ever get a proper Thor.
Yeah.
Like all the other characters, we seem to get like, okay, there's that one character. There's there's Mr. Sinister. Okay, there's Sue Storm. That's what happened to Johnny. There's Ben Grimm, but you don't ever get that's Thor.
Yeah.
There's just the Thor Corps.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Which Batman villain would be the worst God Emperor, and why is it Joker?
honestly, I think the worst God Emperor, and I may catch some flack for this. I think it'd be Two-Face,
Oh yeah.
dude, because he'd still leave it up to chance. Should I go to war?
But
We're going to war.
Is
It's like
chi-
fuck.
Isn't chaos worse than chance though? The chaos of the clown would just be.
I think he gets bored as God. If his
yeah.
every whim, I think he just gets bored.
Yeah. That's.
I think that's the thing, and you kind of see that with Doom a little bit. He's like,
Yeah.
I have everything.
Like
Why
there's
do
a-
I?
yeah, there's
why
a-
do I give a shit about this little piddly matter?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't have as many questions on this one, but talk just because I want to save some time for the MCU talk.
Yeah.
So,
I have three notes.
favorite character in this version.
Favorite character.
Anyone jump out at you?
I love the Doctor Strange aspect, the Sheriff Strange.
Yeah.
That really intrigued me, where he's kind of like going behind Doom's back a little bit.
Yeah.
He has the vessel for the heroes stashed away.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, the fact that he was good enough to not become God because he knows that it would have been bad.
Yeah.
Whereas Doom is like, yep, I'm there.
Yeah.
So I really did like the Strange character.
Okay.
I gotta say, dude, like the Wastelands or the Badlands or whatever the hell they called it,
Yeah.
with all of that bad down there,
Yeah.
that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
And then they just let the guy.
What about T'Challa with the Infinity Gauntlet and an
That's-
army of zombies?
Okay, so I have that. I have a note about that. Okay, since T'Challa is gone, would you have Shuri with the Infinity Gauntlet, or would you prefer someone else? So let's say that happens. Let's say they get the Infinity Gauntlet from Strange's stuff.
Yeah.
Would you want it to be Shuri, or would you want it to be someone else? And if so,
I mean,
who?
If we're actually in the Fallen Secret Wars, who's to say T'Challa's gone?
Recast.
There's alternate universes.
Recast him. Michael B. Jordan's T'Challa.
It was what I'm kind of expecting anyway.
Really?
Like,
Get
I
us
think
a-
Black Panther's too big of a character to leave T'Challa off the board.
Yeah.
I understand, but it's like with the whole Secret Wars thing coming, it feels to me like a perfect opportunity to recast the role and have him from the another universe.
And just merge him into ours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is it Shuri or Suri? Shuri?
Shuri, I think.
Shuri?
Yeah.
So does she stop being Black Panther?
No, I think you could have both. Like,
Two Black Panthers?
yeah, why not?
Have the relationship where she's like, you're not my brother, and he's like, I'm not trying to be,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, you got the kind of the stepdad thing. You're not my real dad.
Yeah, you're not my real brother.
Yeah.
I'm the queen. No, well, okay, but I'm T'Challa, so
Yeah, yeah. If you were to expand out from any character based, because you said you like this version better.
Yeah.
If there's anyone that you looked at and went, I want to read more of this. Was there any character like that kind of like that would maybe pull you in their direction? To
I mean,
read?
I want to read more about Doom, like Fantastic Four and Doom.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued by that, honestly,
yeah,
because my basis for the Fantastic Four is the shitty Fox movies.
yeah,
The best part is the Rise of the Silver Surfer. I've never seen it properly. That's when I was dabbling in the high seas, and so I had to watch the shitty version that, to avoid it getting taken down, they played other movies on top of it.
oh yeah,
And so I was trying to watch through other movies. I've never seen Rise of the Silver Surfer properly.
it's all right.
So
It's not as bad as some people try to say it, but it
But
wasn't. It's not MCU level by
that's
any means.
that's my only knowledge of the Fantastic Four, and I know that they're integral to
Oh,
Marvel.
Yeah, 100%.
They're Marvel's first family.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. So
Yeah, and they were the start of the modern Marvel era.
I think we have a big change coming with the Fantastic Four, so I think it would be kind of interesting that if I'm going to start anywhere, that I start with them.
Yeah. Yeah. What are the notes you got? And then let's get over to the MCU
Only
side.
one X-Men?
Yeah.
Cyclops Phoenix? That's an interesting idea.
That is, yeah.
And then also Doom just, snaps his neck.
And the Thanos.
The Thanos, very famous Thanos. I see you don't have the Infinity Gauntlet. I'm still the Mad Titan. I can still beat your ass. It appears not.
He Mortal Kombat's his
damn.
ass. Gives them
Fatality.
the spine and skull rip.
And then I just like what I was saying about the 1984. We don't really get like kind of a serious conclusion.
Yeah.
Just the change. Reed is God.
It's kind of open.
Is that what
Yeah,
Reed's God?
Yeah, he gets the God thing, and then it becomes like the thing where he can then like remake the new universe.
Kind of like a Hulk undoing the snap in Endgame.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like you give like kind of an altruistic.
Oh, okay.
What did you think of Reed in this one? Reed versus Doom, like the obviously Reed that's lost everything. Like, I will say that having revisited both now, I actually think I do prefer this new version more myself, and I love.
I did too.
I mean, I love Doom because villains are awesome, but also I loved Reed in this story a lot. So.
He was really good and really compelling, and I really liked the whole strange aspect where Doom kills him and then frames them for it.
Yeah.
But he Strange was able to blast them to the four corners, and everything like that. So
yeah. All right, so over to the MCU side. So now let's talk speculation, hopes, dreams, fears for the MCU now that you've read these two. Mike says, so Reed is Marty McFly in Back to the Future 2.
yeah, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. So ultimately now that you've read both, I will say I'm almost certain, because most of the MCU has taken a lot more out of the Ultimate Universe. And I also think that from what we've seen with incursions and stuff, I think 2015 is the one we're going to be largely seeing. It won't be beat for beat by any means, but I think that if let's fast forward 5 years from now, we're doing an episode where we look back on it. I think, and we were to read these again, we're going to see a lot more out of the 2015 version.
A lot more similarities to the 2015 versus the 84.
Than the 84. Not to say there won't be elements taken, but I think the 15 version you'll be able to look at and go, oh yeah, you could certainly see like the DNA of what we're going to see in theaters. My opinion, but do you? Is that what you want to see?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, realistically, I think the 2015 Secret Wars could be your premise for Doomsday.
Yeah.
I think it very well could be is that he somehow acquired that power in the incursion.
And they've been introduced the Beyonder, right?
Yep.
So
did they introduce the Beyonder?
Or I'm sorry, the from What If?
Watchers.
They're the
Watchers.
The Watchers.
The Beyonder.
Yeah, that's right.
They're different.
That's true.
So we never see the Beyonder. We don't know who the Beyonder is, and the Beyonder's not in the 2015 one.
That's right. That's true.
He uses Molecular Man.
Molecule Man.
Yeah. He uses Molecule Man to give him God powers.
Yeah.
And then that's where at the end he's just like, well, Reed was nicer to me. Here, you're God.
Yeah.
And then Doom is.
Yeah. But Reed gives him a face.
He does give him a face. I would not be surprised if that was the premise of Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's a better way to introduce Doom than to make him God?
Yeah, we're gonna basically see the Emperor God Doom.
Yeah.
In the Doomsday, and that's
it's so interesting. How are we going to do either of these? Because Doom is so central to both stories.
Yeah.
Where Doom in the first one in the 1984. He goes and conquers the Beyonder and gets his powers and basically becomes God.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, in the 2015, he is God from the very beginning, basically after the incursion.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say insurrection for some reason. In the incursion, he's God. He's God Doom. Like he has people like Apocalypse bowing down to him.
Yeah.
He's God.
Yeah.
And it's Mr. Sinister. That's
knowing your background, like watching the X-Men cartoons and stuff, I knew that moment would get you.
Dude,
where
Apocalypse is bending the knee to fucking Doom is like, damn.
And then later Thanos finds out that he probably should have bent
the knee. That's probably what his last thought was before his spine was ripped out of his chest.
Man.
I find it fascinating that we're to this point where Doom is going to be this. Obviously, he should be this big part of Doomsday. It's named Doomsday for a reason.
He's going to be
and Secret Wars.
Yeah.
But we haven't even been introduced to this character yet.
Yeah. Do you think that we're not going to see him?
Dude, I absolutely have to see him in Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
How do you not introduce him here?
Yeah.
Because seriously, we have one other project in between now and Doomsday.
Yeah.
And that's just Spider-Man.
Yeah. That's true because they delayed. Because Spider-Man was going to come out after Doomsday, but before.
But now
Secret
they do.
Wars, but now they got delayed until their respective Decembers. So theoretically, Spider-Man's coming first. So
that's
Or not
That's-
theoretically, I guess reality, which is weird, but yes.
That's all we're gonna have right now. The two MCU projects, well, the MCU movies, I should say,
yeah.
that are coming before Doomsday are Fantastic Four: First Steps and Spider-Man.
Yeah. Brand new day?
Brand new day, and we have no Doom introduced at all.
Yeah, there's-
are we getting Doom introduced in Doomsday? Like how are
That's
we
what I was
doing
telling
this?
you when like the director of Fantastic Four said that Doom wasn't part of his movie, and I said two things. One, his post-credit scene technically wouldn't count as part of his movie. That's the way that a lot of these filmmakers look at it. But two, he's probably lying. I just do not see how Doom is not a part of this movie.
I don't know how you don't introduce him
Yeah.
to get it. I mean, I get it.
Otherwise, that like
Thanos-
the Fantastic Four doesn't know who he is. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing that I don't get. The only thing I would say though is if if you bring in the Fantastic Four from the Fox universe, or you maybe have a completely different cast altogether. You could have Jim from The Office, for God's sake.
Yeah, the Illuminati Fantastic
But if you
Four.
have another Fantastic Four that can then give the handoff to Pedro on them and tell them like he is the greatest villain, like whatever, like kind of like the Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus, right? It's like he's like you're not Peter, you know,
Yeah.
like he knows.
But it was a handoff.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's the handoff to then understand like whatever, and which is interesting because No Way Home kind of gives you an indication now where it's like, what have they been setting up that's going to be paying off for Doomsday and Secret Wars?
Yeah, and see, that's what a
already?
lot of people are like, oh, I don't like this phase. This phase is so garbage, and MCU's lost it and everything like that. I'm like, see where this goes.
Yeah,
Let me see the payoff first before you
Yeah.
you say how shitty it is, because
yeah,
what if what happens in Shang-Chi and Spider-Man and the Eternals actually has a payoff?
yeah,
Because, I mean, it's going to be very intriguing if the Eternals play any part of this whatsoever.
yeah.
And we were talking about Blade supposedly is back on track. So,
Yeah.
you know, where's Blade fit into all of this? Introduce him in Secret Wars. That's a great place to start,
Yeah.
you know? Or coming on the heels of his movie, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'll just say that I think that the 2015 fits better for Doomsday, whereas Secret Wars 84
Could
fits
dabble
better.
both for Secret Wars. Like, yeah.
Oh, I just like the idea of them being thrown together and fighting in
Yeah.
Secret Wars Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah.
I think that makes way more sense, especially if you're going to be introducing the X-Men there
Yeah.
in between Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Yeah.
No, you get X-Men in Doomsday.
It just
So-
it just dawned on me the whole chair reveal. There was no for sure Fantastic Four in that, was there? Like Chiklis, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans doesn't count. He was listed, but like I've been saying though, they've already bamboozled us once with him. But we don't have any confirmation that we're going to get the other Fantastic Four in Doomsday, right? Up to this point. They've obviously told us that wasn't the end of the casting, the chair reveal. But with that chair reveal, there was a lot of X-Men and stuff, but there was no confirmed like Jessica Alba, what's his name,
No, no, no.
Chiklis, like
No.
but because I have to think that, like with that the rest of that whole Fox cast of X-Men, you telling me that the Fantastic Four might not be part of this movie, and maybe that's how we're going to kind of come to it is like
You
know,
talking, you talking Doomsday?
yeah.
Pedro was listed with the chairs, wasn't he?
No. The original Fantastic
the
Four.
OG.
Because I guess what I'm trying to get my head around is if Doom's not in this Fantastic Four in a
Yeah.
couple weeks, how is this Fantastic Four going to then be clued into the fact that hey, this is your main villain? This
What
is
if that's the purpose of Doomsday?
could be.
What if that is, you know, the threat level Omega kind of thing is like Doomsday is
Is there
him
a sticker
becoming
on the bottom of
powerful?
my cup?
There is.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Didn't know. I've never looked at the bottom of my cup. Well, I guess I probably have when I've washed it and stuff, but never
Yeah.
paid
Mike
attention
says, Tad, my OCD really wants to peel that sticker off the bottom of your cup.
to it. Yeah, I didn't realize there was. It's like a QR code.
Yeah.
That's aggravating.
Yeah. That's,
It will be eliminated as a threat.
does the QR code take us to anything, Tad?
Probably take the whole
Put a
internet
new
down.
QR code on the bottom of your cup every episode. There you go. No, I get what you're saying. I really do. But honestly, part of me is just like, man, I don't want the Fantastic Four to be bogged down by being tied to a main villain. Like, I can get it. Captain America's very first movie was the Red Skull.
Yeah,
But it wasn't his, you know, it wasn't Thanos. It wasn't, you know,
But
Ultron and everything like that. They weren't first, you know?
My concern is it wouldn't Reed and them be kind of worthless if they have no comprehension of who Doom is. One of the biggest things the Fantastic Four brings is like, that's our dude. We know who this guy is. We know how he thinks. And like if Pedro and that Fantastic Four don't have anything with him, it's like, I'm not gonna say they're worthless, but it's like one of the biggest things they bring to the table is taken off the table. Like, come on. Like, imagine if the X-Men don't know who Magneto is. It's
what
like,
if the first part of Doomsday is the Fantastic Four being introduced to Doom?
It very well could be. I think that we're assuming there's going to be an immediate jump to, like, we're on Battle World or, you know, whatever, like Doom World. Like, we're on that immediately the second the first frame starts, which is kind of like, that's probably a false assumption. So it could very well be that maybe he's
what if
like,
that's the first time Doom shows up in New York? In the Fantastic Four's world. Because I think that, dude, I swear to God, they're bamboozling us that the Fantastic Four planet dies and their universe dies. I think they're bamboozling us. I really do.
I don't know,
dude. Why the fuck would they show that?
No, that shot is not. I don't know that shot is it.
Yeah.
Or if it is, it's a vision of some kind or whatever. It's not. Maybe it's like Galactus showing whatever. I do think it's going to end darkly.
All right. Here's what I think happens. End of Fantastic Four. First step. They defeat Galactus. They send his ass off. He's not dead, but he's gone.
Yeah.
You know, Silver Surfer's freed or whatever happens there, and they're like, we're safe. And then Sue goes to check on little Franklin, and there's Doom picking up the baby and out the window. Mother Gothel style. Mother Gothel style. He's just gone with Franklin, and that's the ship landing on 616, and that's how they...
Yeah.
Doomsday is them trying to find... the hunt for Franklin.
Yeah, I've mentioned that on a previous episode that I wonder if Franklin is going to end up being like the kind of MacGuffin for the next couple movies. Like this one, Fantastic Four, and then maybe Doomsday.
Yeah.
Because, like, you now understand at least in part how fucking powerful Franklin is.
Dude,
like,
he was controlling Galactus.
Yeah, he
was using Galactus as a fucking
a toy.
What's
like
the Pacific Rim robot?
Yeah, a kaiju or not? No,
not kaiju, but the Gypsy Rose or whatever they're called.
I forget
what are they called?
I don't remember. A kaiju stuck in my head because they're the kaiju monsters in that. But like a mech suit type thing for sure. So
yeah, that's what he was doing. Jaegers.
Yeah.
He was Jaegering Galactus around and beating the shit out of Ben.
Yeah.
Like, good Lord.
So now, are you with me that virtually everyone who's ever been in a Marvel movie, and even some who haven't, like Tom Cruise's Iron Man, is probably going to show up in Secret Wars? Not that they're all going to be in like massive scenes, but I do kind of wonder if we're going to end up seeing like multiple universes incurring into a singular thing.
I don't.
No?
I don't.
I still think it. Man.
I don't. Deadpool and Wolverine did that.
Not to the scale I'm talking.
No, but they did that.
They teased it.
They did that.
And
already.
Here,
they did different versions of characters. You had Chris Evans playing Johnny Storm, and I think that all of that is out of Marvel's system. I think they're going to tell a genuine. I don't think that they're going to do like the whole I don't think it's that kind of movie.
Not in that kind of way to where whatever. But I do think that you are going to end up seeing like people like you're going to basically see everything that's ever been Marvel coming together into a singular thing, and not in a kind of way of like, oh look, it's the dude from whatever, but more of just like I think it'll be a grim type thing, kind of, you know, like because of the circumstances, like so I don't think it'll be like
so you think like Tom Cruise Iron Man's going to be in it and then he's going to die.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah,
especially
because I don't think they're going to bring Stark back as Robert Downey Jr. So I think they're going to have to fill that gap because you are going to want an Iron Man on screen for a chunk of this, and I do not think they can go back and let Robert Downey play that. I think that's kind of where you're like stepping on Endgame a bit. So that's where I think like Tom Cruise comes in, and like then it's kind of a cheesy thing, like the few like the real nerds that are like, oh yeah, Tom Cruise almost got cast, like type thing, and and I don't know they'll necessarily go full broad of that, but it's like I think there's certain characters you absolutely need to have, and I think Iron Man's one of them.
Yeah, but why are you saying that every single Marvel thing ever has to be in Secret
Not
Wars?
has to, but might. I think that everything's on the table.
I don't think it is. I think they're going to scale it back. I think it's going to be a story instead of just a massive
Oh,
fucking.
it'll be a story.
Let's have 85 characters that we can't keep track of.
Oh no, it'll be a
and
story.
not have anything to do with.
It's like
know?
it's like the end of Endgame. Like if I told you from the outset that you'd basically see every fucking thing that's ever been existed in the MCU on the screen at the same time, you'd think it'd be chaotic and hard to follow, but it wasn't. It was a momentary, moment, and there like you really never fixated on people other than like the big ones. Like you never saw Howard the Duck like fucking kicking
Yeah, but you're
Thanos.
talking about like 5 different Iron Mans, 4 different Spider-Mans, stuff like that. I don't think that they do that. I don't think that we're going to see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. I think we're going to see Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Maybe they'll introduce Miles Morales, but I just don't see I just don't see them taking Secret Wars and just turning it into a let's throw as many fucking characters on screen as possible. Endgame earned it. Endgame earned that colossal battle at the end. We have to defeat Thanos. We have to save
and I think
the universe.
I think this has earned it too because of what they've built up so far. And I think that like everything from like the not TVA, but like we've seen alternate universe versions where it's the same actor. We've seen ones where it's different actors. I think all these like small seeds, I think they've been planting to give us this like whatever. And I do think we're going to see all the Spider-Man, and I do think that Miles Morales gets introduced. I think we're going to get a Civil War level. Here's Miles Morales that is going to carry over into the MCU because they have been teasing for ages now that like we're really getting close. We think we want to do a Miles Morales in the MCU live action and shit. I think he gets introduced here because what better way? Just like Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Randomly in the middle of fucking Civil War, we're introduced to what the fuck? That's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do the same thing here, and I think you'll see him pulled into the MCU.
I just don't see them doing that whole like Secret Wars thing where we have 1984 cash grab for toys. Let's throw as many characters in it as we can. I think you see more 2015. There's 5-6 characters that matter. They're the ones at the start of the panel. They show the cast and everything like that.
Well, I think you can take like the X-Men off the board because I think they are in Doomsday, and I think they're going to get wiped out in Doomsday. And so I think there's going to be very few X-Men in Secret Wars because except for maybe Wolverine and Deadpool are probably the only ones I anticipate surviving Doomsday. So I think that like at that point, like you won't see.
But aren't we going to have new X-Men for Secret Wars?
I don't think so.
So you don't think the X-Men are going to be present in Secret Wars at all?
I think Wolverine and like Deadpool, and I think maybe you might pull one other person, like a couple survivors, but then they'll be like just the survivors. Like it'll be kind of like almost kind of the vibe of like the Asgardians, where it's like Thanos wiped them out. They're already been wiped out 100 times with like multiple things happening to them, and then Thanos comes and wipes out another half of them, and it's like cool. There's like almost nothing left. That's where the X-Men are going to be when we get to Secret Wars, in my opinion, because the cast listing just has me wondering if it's going to really be like Doomsday is going to be like whatever MCU we've got, the entire Fox X-Men universe, and then.
But the Fox universe was laid to rest with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Well, then why is the entire Fox cast in those chairs?
Because they're in the Marvels. Beast is in the end credit scene for the Marvels.
Yeah, because that's the Fox universe.
That's a separate universe.
Yeah,
that's where you get like the incursion from and stuff like that. So
that's what I mean.
An incursion I can see, but that's not 7 different beasts. That's not 9 different Cyclopses. That's not all of this.
I'm not saying it's going to be crazy like that, but I'm saying that's
what you said. Is you said we're going to see every single thing that Marvel has done. Every single character
there's not
version
9. There's
of
not
it.
9 beasts. There's 2. There's 2 beasts. That's it. Well, no, 2. No, Kelsey Grammer.
And the one from Days of Future Past.
Yeah, Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah.
That's it. So there's 2 beasts. You're over-exaggerating by saying I'm saying there's going to be 9 beasts. There's not.
So there's going to be 2 beasts then?
Potentially. Nicholas Hoult, I don't know now. Because
that's what I'm saying.
He's very busy.
You said all.
Is on the table. I'm not saying they're all going to be up. They're all on the table, and I do think it's going to be fucking nuts.
Okay, see, that's different than what you said. You said they're all going to be in Secret Wars. I didn't hear the on the table part. So I just don't see them doing a whole big thing like Endgame again. I see them doing a very story-driven movie.
Endgame is going to look like a fucking micro thing compared to this, I think. This is going to be close to 100 characters, in my opinion. Not that they're all going to be on screen constantly. Like, you're going to have your core that you're truly following, but I think you're going to see this is going to be kind of like the incursion of everything that we've ever had, and some of them might just be quick couple-second shot of like someone getting iced, and it's like, oh god, that was fucking, well, not Johnny Storm because that's Chris Evans. I think they're going to play really heavily with Chris Evans. There's also been the rumors that we're going to potentially see alternate universe ones where it's like the evil Captain America, the evil Iron Man, like, you know, a world where like the Avengers are the Dark Avengers and like.
See, but we didn't get that in either comic run. We didn't get that where we had 5 different Iron Mans or evil Captain Marvel and stuff like that. So I don't know where that's coming from you for you to say that like we're going to get different versions of the characters. We didn't have the single version example of that in either of these comic series.
I mean, yeah, because you're only pulling away the few that survive. So like, but like the Ultimate Universe, you saw a chunk of it at the very beginning where you saw like Sam Jackson, you saw
but we didn't see
Hawkeye,
we didn't see another Nick Fury. That's what I'm saying. Is like there's not multiples of
Well,
characters.
no, but he was already well established. I mean, Nick Fury's been in
Yeah.
the comics for 50 years up to that point. So it's like to suddenly see like, oh my God, like you're crossing the streams here. Like there's 2 universes at the same time. Like, and I think that like they're going to use the cachet of everything that they've got, not whatever. And again, I think it will be kind of like Endgame. Like again, if you would have told people 5 years before Endgame, like at a certain point we're going to go to a movie and you counted up how many characters actually were visible even for a second, and then told people that, they'd lose their mind and go, there's no fucking way. That would ruin everything. You couldn't balance that. But Feige and them, and it's ultimately the Russo brothers, like they're the ones that balanced it, where it's like, oh yeah, pause for a second, you could see Howard the Duck there. Like you could see all of the Ravengers from Guardians.
Yeah.
Like you see them all, like, but you know, you hardly focus on him. And I think that's will be kind of the case at a certain point. I wonder if we get like a broad battle scene, and that's where you're going to see like in the distance you could see certain things, like whatever. But ultimately, it will be a core story for sure. I'm really intrigued by what they're going to do with Doom, though. With him, the director saying Doom's
I
not
have
showing
no
up.
idea. It just doesn't make sense to me now that I've read it. How central he is to both stories,
Yeah,
and we're not going to have him introduced until at least Spider-Man.
yeah.
He's not in Fantastic Four. Like
He has to be. I don't get it, man.
What? How?
I think he's lying. I think this is 100%. The title of the second Avengers movie was not spoken in the first movie, like, right? Even though Endgame was, and it's like, well, we were lying because what are we going to do? Tell you the truth? Like, I
Yeah.
think that's 100% because, like, I mean, there's even been rumors that the Fantastic Four like are going to be working side by side with Victor Von Doom to save the world from Galactus, and like whenever the failure happens, that'll be like the onus of like his hatred for Reed, and like so
Yeah.
I see that almost more because then you'll establish who he
The conflict between the two.
yeah, now I have a hard time with that though, because how would they have filmed that with Robert Downey Jr. and nobody caught wind of it? I mean, Marvel's good, but like
Yeah.
you're the biggest actor in Hollywood probably right now, certainly the highest paid actor.
Hey, they've kept secrets from us before.
They have, but like I think
Not very well. We pretty well knew that Andrew Garfield was going to be in No Way Home. So same with Tobey Maguire.
yeah, and
And they came out and they're like, "No, I'm not in it." And it's like,
yeah,
lying right to my face, you son of a bitch.
unless they go Mando style and he just doesn't take his mask off.
Yeah.
Then all you have to do is have Robert Downey Jr. in a
Voice.
voice sound booth recording the voice. But that would assume that he's like post accident when he's trying to help them, and it's like whatever. Because then it's easy to cover up. Then you just have a body actor on set
Yep.
that is playing the body, like the guy that the black
Does
dude
the
that plays
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. Like he's the one that's on set. Pedro Pascal is almost never on set.
Yeah.
He just does voices later, like because he's a busy guy as well. And I think that. I don't know. I'm not like hopeful to the point where if he's not in, I'm gonna be crushed, or if he doesn't show up till the post credit scene, like whatever. I'm just intrigued. I trust Feige. Like he's
Yeah.
gonna do the right thing.
all hell Kevin Feige.
Indeed. But rereading these is interesting. It's been a long time since I've read.
Yeah.
I think I've only read the 2015 one once, and it was probably closer to 2015. And the 1984 one, I think I've read it twice, but it's been at least 5 or 6 years since the last time I
wonder
read it,
if
so.
we're going to get Doom getting control at the end. And so Secret Wars is overthrowing him.
Yeah.
You have Reed and an alliance of people trying to overthrow God Doom.
Yeah. Here's a thought.
Because what do we have? What do we have in between Doomsday and Secret Wars?
Couple things, but we don't think we know what they are right now. It's untitled
See,
Marvel.
That makes me wonder if
So.
we're not being told everything.
No,
Ted.
for sure. But it's the lead in that I'm worried about. I'm not worried about, that I'm wondering about now. Here's a thought that just hit me. What if Doctor Doom is in the Fantastic Four, but it's not Robert Downey Jr.? Alternate universe. Different Doom. Maybe he even dies. But then they know who Doom is, and he certainly is going to know who the fuck they are.
Yeah.
Maybe he's even a villain. Maybe he's even trying to stop the Fantastic Four, you know, so they know that he's like the enemy.
Yeah.
You know, then when fucking the Doom, when they show up on his planet, or
They
he
go,
shows up
"Uh-oh."
there, they're like, we know who that fucking is, even though it's a different different
Yeah.
person, right? Because they planted some seeds, man. I don't trust Marvel. They've planted some seeds for us over time. I'm also really wondering if the thing at the end of time, like where they get zapped from the TVA,
Yeah.
like where we're at in Deadpool, Wolverine, as well as you saw in Loki.
The
What do they call
the
that?
Waste or whatever.
I'm kind of wondering if that is going to be like tied to Doom World or Battle World in some way, to where I don't know. There's just, maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm like the dude with the fucking board with the strings all over the place, and I'm like going nuts. But like, I have a feeling like we're gonna kind of Leo meme our way through this last couple phases.
The Void. That's what
The
it's called.
Void, yeah. I kind of wonder if the Void being, I don't know. It's interesting to me, but I do agree with you though. Deadpool and Wolverine played it much more for like oh cool, I remember them. I don't think that these movies are going to play it that way. I think that it's going to be played in a way to where like it's like, oh, okay, like the audience will accept it. They kind of know that that's Magneto or that's whoever, but it won't be played for like cheers and like whatever. It won't be played lightly. I think this is going to be a dark movie. Reminds me of Revenge of the Sith. I remember
You're talking Secret Wars, right?
more so. I think that it's going to be more scaled down for Doomsday. I think you're going to see maybe the Fantastic Four and you're going to see the X-Men. We've seen that from the casting chairs. And I think that it might be a 100% a Doom type movie. Like Infinity War was Thanos' movie. I think Doomsday is going to be his movie, and it might be him building his world. It might be him going after the Beyonder to get the power. It could be him finding the Molecule Man. It could be him using Franklin instead of Molecule Man. Maybe Franklin is the replacement for him. Also, I don't know. Very intrigued though. Any final thoughts? I don't know if I've got any other things.
I'm really, really interested to see what they do with the ending, like
Yeah.
for Secret Wars, because
That was one question I had. Do you think this will be kind of a soft reboot for the MCU? Like not hard where they're going to recast everyone, but like now you've kind of cleared the board where you don't have to worry about Chris Evans and Hemsworth, and like now it's a matter of like Reed and Shang-Chi, and like you're going to have kind of a new Marvel universe on the other side of this. Do you think that, or do you think it's going to kind of keep flowing the way it's been flowing?
I think they're going to keep flowing. They might introduce someone for T'Challa. I liked your assessment of that.
Yeah.
Be a perfect time for that. If they do introduce characters, I think it's going to be less than 5. I don't think we're going to see 10 new characters.
No,
from this.
and that's why I don't think the new X-Men are going to be in this. I think it's going to be. I think on the outside of the Secret Wars, I think we're going to have an MCU Miles Morales, and I think we'll have a new T'Challa. But beyond that, that's it. I really
don't see them. I don't.
And
see
Doom
them,
will still exist. You know,
yeah,
like
I don't see them recasting a whole bunch of people to replace. Don't give me a new Iron Man. Don't give me a new Captain America. Don't give me a new Thor. Let those characters rest. Like a Thor sounds like we're going to get a Thor 5.
yeah,
And it's going to be a little bit more dark and gritty is what it's sounding like.
yeah.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with them going back to Thor. Especially after reading like the stuff with like Enchantress. I think she's
Yeah.
a fascinating villain where she's trying to seduce Thor
Yeah.
versus just trying to beat the shit out of him and kill him, kind of
Yeah.
thing. I think that would be really interesting, especially with him having a daughter now.
Yeah.
Like, how does that play into it and everything?
Yeah.
But I think that, the other thing also is that Namor's hardly in this, either one.
yeah,
He's barely in the second one, running around with T'Challa, who they fucking hate each other.
yeah.
They've been at war for so long. So it's kind of interesting.
Also, Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, we got to figure out where Wanda fits
she
in.
might be the Molecule Man.
Oh my God! What if she's the power behind Doom?
Would she not be the perfect MCU
Yes.
person?
Yes.
Also, my last prediction: Reed is the new Tony on the other side of this.
Makes sense.
He is going to be the core, the brain, the heart of, and Pedro is the perfect guy to fill that.
Yeah.
Of the new MCU. I think on the other side of this, Reed is kind of what Robert Downey has been for the MCU the first 15 or whatever years it was. So, but yeah, Wanda.
Yeah, we got to figure out where she fits in. We didn't even talk about her.
So what if it's Vision and the kids showing up and fucking Mama is calling Doom her husband?
Oh.
I mean, that would kind of suck because Vision's a robot, so he's not really going to be
Yeah,
as
it's not going to be
emotional.
a slap in the face like Reed.
He'll just be like, "Oh, interesting," and then the calculations, like it's like. Now the kids, on the other hand, especially Billy, might not take too kindly
He might
to
not
that.
take too kindly to that, and we might go after Doom.
Well, I'm glad we did this. I think this worked out really well. And also, I'm glad I maybe got the hook in your mouth for the Marvel Unlimited app. Huge plug for that. It is an amazing thing, dude. Just get yourself a cheap tablet, get the Unlimited. I think you get it for like $60-$70 for the entire year, and you get access to, I don't know, 18,000 comics or something like that.
Yeah.
Usually new comics are on there after like 6 months after they get published, so you can even keep up with semi-modern shit if you want, but be very careful with that though, because if you start reading a new run, if you have to wait like a month or more before the next issue comes out, that's dangerous. I've fallen into that before. So
Like, damn it.
yeah, it's the worst. But yeah, that is that. Unless you have any other things before we hit over to the emails, if you want to email the show, you could do that at peter@geekeryabides.com or tad@geekeryabides.com. And next time on Geekery Abides is Superman. Superman's coming out.
The death of Crypto.
I wonder. They won't kill him. There's no way.
I mean, if they remove the punch, and that was the worst. They're not.
I
killing
wonder
him.
if there was just like a really sad, like whimpering whine as he got punched by Ultraman. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm wondering. Because like if he was just a punch and like, because we already saw that one teaser, he's like flying at the villains and knocking him out. If he someone just punch him, whatever. But it had to have been like he gets fucking cratered into the ground and he yelps and shit. Because
What he punches him with brass knucks that are studded with kryptonite.
yeah. And then he's all like John Wickish. Like
Yeah.
he's all. Then he has to like carry him up to the sun to like revive him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I could.
Or he just dies.
But then again,
from
there are
the punch.
people are weak though. There's all those websites. Does the dog die and shit? Because people get so fucking triggered by
Yeah.
animals getting hurt. They don't care about people getting slaughtered by the thousands. But
Don't kill the dog.
yeah, don't kill the dog. But that will be next time. Talking Geek Rides, and the time after that, we're talking Fantastic Four. So it's going to be a very quick turnaround to where it's like, okay, where are we at now? Like, let's recalculate after we see the first family of Marvel finally entering the MCU. But I will sign off as I always do by saying, not Long Days and Pleasant Nights, by saying, love what you love, let your geek flag fly high, and to hell with anyone that says anything to you about guilty pleasures.
All hell, God, Doom.
See, you're coming around.
I like Doom. I think he's a fascinating character.
That's awesome. All right, see you guys.
Bye, everyone.